Hey, oh, jump scare. Jump scare. I hate it when it puts me like on the big screen, like all of a sudden. It should have started off in the corner. I feel like it's a jump scare, like my face. How's it going, guys? Let me know how the audio and the sound is. Can you hear me and see me? Is everything looking clear and sounding good? Let me know. I think it should all be set up. Let me just make sure. Right microphone. Yeah, right microphone, right camera. Should be sounding good. So this is just going to be a super chill stream. Um, Nothing too crazy. Just gonna be hanging out together and just talking about whatever. And also, as the title of this obviously says, today is the last day to get access to the my new graphic novel, my upcoming graphic novel, The Lie Behind the Star. This is the last day to back the campaign. And then, of course, it'll go back on sale in like 8 to 10 months. But if you want to be one of the first people to get the book, now is the last time. We're like down to like the last 5 hours. So, like, if you want to be one of the first people to get it, now is the time. And otherwise, you can get it like in, sometime late next year when we start sending all the books out. After we get all of the people that back the campaign out, then it'll be open back up for other people to get it. But for right now, I only got 5 more hours on it. And yeah, so that's the deal with that. It has been such an incredible success. And thank you, Montague, for your super chat. It's been such an incredible success, and I can only thank everyone that has backed the campaign for the success of it. So thank you guys so much. Everyone that has backed the campaign, everyone that has helped spread the word. It's been great, right? So yeah, so we're just gonna be hanging out tonight and chatting about whatever you guys want to. And yeah, nothing major on the agenda. It is just a chill stream today. So yeah. So how's everybody going? How's everybody going? How has everybody been? I've got several big projects that I'm working on for Quinn's Ideas. I made a community post a few days ago talking about some of them. One of the major ones is the Ultimate Guide to Hyperion. So I had so much fun doing that Hyperion stream, and I realized I have a bunch of research and notes on Hyperion that are just like my research and notes. That is like all my stuff, all my material that I can totally shape this into an ultimate guide to Hyperion. So I'm working on that. And probably the first new video that you guys are going to see from me before the end of this year is my video on The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. And The Sparrow is an awesome science fiction book that is extremely disturbing in a very unique way. Oh, Eric says he's on vacation. That's awesome. So The Sparrow is extremely disturbing in a very unique way, and I'm absolutely excited to release this video essay. So essentially in The Sparrow, if you've never read it, essentially you have these Jesuit priests that are also like scientists, and essentially we get a signal from outer space that contains what is unmistakably music from like an alien race of beings. So, and so obviously they go out to seek out this alien race of beings, and it's about what happens on this alien world, the world of Rakat. And it's really dark, it's really disturbing, and it's really, really interesting. So I'm excited to release that video. That'll be the first one that's coming out. We've also got some other things that I'm working on outside of the Hyperion Ultimate Guide and the Sparrow video. So one of those things is my Neuromancer video essay. Now I've done my first Neuromancer video essay, but now I'm going to be doing a video essay exploring deeper into the sequels. So we're going to be getting into Count Zero and Mona Lisa Overdrive. So that's my next like long form video essay after the Sparrow. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't decided if that one's going to end up coming before the Ultimate Guide to Hyperion or after the Ultimate Guide to Hyperion. It really just depends on like how much effort is going to have to go into those, because both of those are two like big series that have a lot of like moving parts, huge sci-fi series. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And then of course I've still got that video on The Life of Chuck, that Stephen King short story, because everyone really enjoyed my the Jaunt video, and that was really fun and exciting to do. So I'm going to do another Stephen King short story on the life of Chuck, which is a really weird and interesting story. I'm calling that one right now the organic simulation, because that's kind of an element of it that I think is really cool. Like the idea that like within like an organic, like a mind could exist other separate consciousnesses, like a world within a mind. So yeah, that's just what's coming in the future of the YouTube channel. Carl Karsnark says, Jesuit is the IRL inspiration for Benny Gesserit. A bit of play on the name. Yeah, it definitely is. Benny Gesserit and the Jesuits, definitely there's direct line of influence from there. Thank you so much, Lisa. And thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. I'm not used to talking with these headphones on. I feel like I can't. I'm just going to remove one ear because I feel like I can't hear myself. I feel like I'm like screaming. I'm not used to talking with the headphones. I'm just going to move it to the side. Move it to the side. So yeah, from what I hear, there is a Dune trailer coming in the maybe next week, maybe the week after next, but there is a Dune Part 2 trailer that is coming soon. That is what's been on the wind so far. So I'm excited for that because I'm always excited to see like whatever little bits of information that we can like see and pull out from the trailer. And of course I'm just excited to see the movie when it comes out. And the other big bit of Dune news that has happened is that Denis Villeneuve says that he's almost done with the script for Dune Messiah. So that's awesome. He seems like he's pretty committed to the idea of Dune Messiah and making the Dune movies a trilogy rather than just doing the two. So that's very, very exciting. And because but what's interesting about the way he's talking about this to me is, and the music isn't too loud, guys, right? Is the music a good volume? It's not like super loud, right? So what's awesome about the way he's talking, well, what's interesting about the way he's talking about it is that he seems to be considering Dune Messiah as the end of the Paul Atreides trilogy. So there's really been no talk of him doing Children of Dune, and I don't even know if he's read it. Probably he has, but he's not really talked about Children of Dune at all. So I don't really know how he feels about that, because Paul isn't over by the end of Dune Messiah. I mean, we get more Paul Atreides after Dune Messiah, but it seems like Villeneuve is looking at Dune Messiah as like the end of Paul for him, which makes sense because, you know, minor spoilers for people that have not read Dune. It makes sense a little bit because it is the end of Paul Atreides and the beginning of the Prophet. If you look at it that way, kind of like he like kind of evolves into something different. He kind of sheds his existence as Paul Atreides, the ruler of the Empire, and becomes something different. So I guess maybe Villeneuve is looking at it like that, like, okay, this is the conclusion to the Paul Atreides trilogy. And then also Children of Dune does kind of, to me, function like a passing of the torch kind of thing, because you have Paul's children who are born with not just his powers. They're strong. They're more powerful than he is. They're more connected to their genetic ancestry than he ever was. More connected than his sister Aaliyah ever was, and they go through that in Children of Dune. And it is kind of structured, I think, like a passing of the torch thing, especially that scene that we get in Children of Dune with Paul Atreides and his son Leto II talking in the desert. Yeah, I would love to see something like that adapted, like in a really like awesome cinematic way. You know what I mean? Like I would love to see Children of Dune adapted like that. I honestly think, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree with this, I think Children of Dune actually lends itself to being filmed more so than Dune Messiah does. More so than Dune Messiah does, because Dune Messiah is kind of like this weird short story where you see your hero kind of be completely, you know, undeified, which is like a word that is used in Children of Dune. But that's the process that we kind of see in Children of Dune. We see that we really, really are slapped in the face in Children of Dune with the fact that Paul Atreides is a mortal man. And I just think, I feel like that deserves to be explored as well. So I hope that even if Villeneuve isn't interested in, continuing forward with the franchise after Dune Messiah, that maybe someone else might be interested in stepping in. If we could find the right person to do a Children of Dune movie, and then maybe a God Emperor of Dune miniseries, I hold that God Emperor of Dune will work better as a miniseries than a movie, in my opinion. It looks like I got a super chat. My sister and I are excited to dive into this while cuddling on the couch. Congrats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your super chat. And yeah. Thanks everyone that supported the campaign so far. Someone says, I would love to see Denis Villeneuve tackle... Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Tackle the Culture series. Consider Phlebas. Interesting. Villeneuve Culture. I feel like the Culture... I don't know if it's really his style. I feel like the Culture is a little bit more slightly on the whimsical side, whereas Villeneuve likes that kind of like hard, brutalist style realism. You know what I mean? So it's a little... I don't know if I really see Villeneuve for that particular series. Someone's saying, isn't Villeneuve during Neuromancer after Dune? Where did you hear that? I didn't hear that anywhere. Did anybody else hear about Villeneuve doing the Jackie C? Yeah, I noticed that too, Jackie C. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to be judgmental about anybody. So I didn't hear anything about Villeneuve doing the Neuromancer show. I've heard about Villeneuve's Cleopatra, and I've heard about Villeneuve's Rendezvous with Rhonda. Rendezvous with Rama, not Rhonda. Right? So, I don't know. So someone says, is Neuromancer filmable? I think it's filmable. I feel like similar things have been filmed, right? So it would definitely have to be adapted. Because I feel like this is a phenomenon now, and let me know if you guys agree with this or not, those of you that read a lot of science fiction. I feel as though, more so like with older science fiction, that they really were not writing these books with the thought in their mind that it could be adapted. So that's why I feel like a lot of like older science fiction is like kind of like beyond adaptation. A lot of people will say it's unadaptable. Like for a long time, people have said there's no way you're ever going to capture Dune. You're never going to get a good Dune adaptation. And I really think that the reason it's hard to adapt like older science fiction is because it's not made for being adapted. Whereas like I think a lot of modern writers, when they're writing, they kind of have it in their mind like, oh, this could one day be a movie or a TV show. So they're writing it with the idea that one day this could be adapted. So it lends itself more to adaptation than something older. Like for example, The Expanse, right? Like reading The Expanse, it's clear that when they wrote it, they knew that it could potentially be a show, and it's written that way, and it really works. So yeah, I definitely see that. I definitely see that. Finally got around to getting in at a paperback level. Thanks, Quinn. I can't wait to read it. Thank you so much for supporting. Someone says The Expanse is one of the most realistic sci-fi shows. The Expanse is really great. Yeah. I gotta work my way through the show, honestly. I really do. Someone says, sorry to badger you, but I have asked you on Patreon about doing the streaming. Both of you said you would do so. Oh, Preston. Both said you would love to do so. One of you needs to reach out to the other. Well, I mean, I would be fine doing a stream with Preston. We would just have to figure out, what we're going to talk about. What the stream will be about, because I've kind of moved on a bit from the A Song of Ice and Fire stuff, even though I wouldn't mind covering it a bit, especially if there was new content came out. Maybe sometime during House of the Dragon we can talk about something. I know he's into Dune as well, somewhat, so we could talk about Dune. I mean, I have nothing against Preston, and I think it would be cool to chat with him. Like I said, I've seen him around for a really long time. I think he's a smart dude, and yeah. So someone says, Quinn, where is the enamel pin add-on for the pre-order? I don't see it on the site. It should be there. It's okay. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up on mine. let's see. Like for example, if I was going, if I grabbed this and I clicked on get this perk, it shows up there. I don't know why it's stretched. It doesn't look like that. It shows up there. So you have to click on get the perk first, and then you scroll down and it'll be there. So that's where that is. Yeah. So that's where that is. Well, it's a big if there's new content. I mean, I have no doubt that George R. R. Martin is always working on stuff because he's a writer and that's what he does. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's working on the Winds of Winter, or that he's made any significant strides with finishing the Winds of Winter. I don't know. He said, honestly, he said kind of contradicting things throughout the years about like where he's at on Winds of Winter. So we really don't even know. I'm optimistic, but honestly, if I had to, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but I see like probably like another House of the Dragon, you know, Fire and Blood type book coming out before Winds of Winter, probably. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he just puts it out. I would love to see Winds of Winter, but I don't know. I don't know. Yay, Preston and Quinn Dune / House of the Dragons stream. We could make it happen potentially if he was interested, and we our schedules aligned and everybody can make it work. We could totally make it happen. Oh, okay. So someone says Apple TV is adapting Neuromancer, not Villeneuve. I got confused by a YouTube video that called it Villeneuve's Neuromancer. You know, you gotta watch out for a lot of these YouTube channels, guys. Like, it's getting bad out there with AI YouTube channels. I have encountered, people have sent me things like, this is your voice, Quinn, that this AI is using your voice, and I've heard things that do sound similar to my voice, but I can't be like, oh, this is 100% my voice, because at the end of the day, I don't know. I've seen like YouTube channels that are completely run by AI, where it's like the thumbnails are AI, the scripts are AI, the voice is AI. And you know, YouTube is recommending these things, and it's pushing these things to people. They show up recommended to me, and definitely it's making it harder for like actual content creators that are actually writing scripts and like trying to make actual thoughtful content, because like the whole site is becoming like flooded with AI just garbage, and it's really really bad content that has all sorts of like inaccuracies and just like bad stuff that's not good, and just like wrong interpretations, like bad interpretations, like completely nonsensical stuff, just completely illogical, like false facts about like narratives and plots. It's really not good. Like, AI has not been good to YouTube, I don't think. Someone says, Quinn, all of the horror genre aliens, or just generally horrific, terrifying ones, which would you most prefer to encounter? What? Okay, which would I prefer most to encounter? Let's see, prefer to encounter. Let's see, what could I avoid? What could I avoid? I mean, the Trisolarans, right? I think the Trisolarans are only terrifying as a civilization if they're more advanced than you and if they're at a distance. Like, I think the Trisolarans face to face, they wouldn't be that scary. So maybe the Trisolarans, right? I feel like I'd have a chance one-on-one against the Trisolaran. And I don't know, especially if it's the Redemption of Time Trisolarans, right? Because if it's the Redemption of Time Trisolarans, then, you know, those guys are basically are tiny. They're tiny little guys, so I could easily take on one of those guys. And I imagine that the Trisolarans too, even if they're not tiny, they're kind of squishy. I feel like I could handle a Trisolaran, as opposed to, like, you know, the Borg, because like if you encounter the Borg, you're never encountering one Borg, you know, and then it's like, that sucks. The Shrike? No, you don't want to encounter the Shrike. Oh God. See, look. Here's the thing, though. You're not gonna understand it. You're never gonna understand the Shrike, and that's its nature. If you encounter it, it's gonna put you on its tree of pain, and then you're never gonna understand. You're gonna exist in this eternity, being tortured by the tree of pain, experiencing like maximum pain until your mind is totally fractured, and you're never gonna understand anything. So you do not want to encounter the Shrike. That sounds like a bad idea. Let's not encounter the Shrike, and yeah, let's not do that. Oh my god. Oh, the Reavers. I've heard of the Reavers, and they're from a video game, right? The Reavers, aliens. Oh no, Firefly. Which I haven't seen enough of Firefly to know that. What was I thinking of? I'm thinking of the Reapers. What video game are the Reapers from, right? Reapers. Oh, that's Mass Effect. I've heard like people are always like the Reapers. The Reapers are so cool, but I haven't played the game, so I don't know. What's the? I'm looking it up right now. What's the point of the Reapers in Mass Effect? Um, Explain that within the series, the Reapers are intended to have both the roles of creator and destroyer at the same time, an idea that explores what a deity might be within a hard science fiction universe like Mass Effect. Oh, that sounds freaking interesting. Reapers. I think a friend of mine is a big Mass Effect guy, and he was trying to tell me about the Reapers and like the whole lore of the universe, and I thought it was pretty cool. The Daleks. Oh yeah, you're right. The Daleks. I feel I just knock him over. Right? If I encountered a Dalek, I just knock him over. People are kind of losing it about Doctor Who. I don't know what's going on. Um, I don't know why anybody is so angry about Doctor Who these days. I feel like Doctor Who for me, if I'm being totally honest, Doctor Who kind of stopped. I haven't been really engaged with Doctor Who since the Peter Capaldi stuff. And really I kind of it's been since like halfway through Matt Smith's last season that I kind of like stopped caring a little bit because I feel like the writing got really bad before that. Like the writing in Doctor Who has been not the best for a really long time, in my honest opinion. But I know people. I've noticed that people are particularly mad about whatever is happening now, and I don't even know because I haven't been watching in years. Yeah. It says the last Capaldi season had the worst writing ever. I remember like the episode that really made me roll my eyes into the back of my head was when the moon was like an egg, and then the moon like cracks and it's like a dragon inside of the moon, and the dragon like flies off. And then like I'm just like, we do know, like the writers of Doctor Who, you do know that like the moon is like we need the moon for like the ocean, like the like we need the moon, the moon doesn't just get to fly away and like not affect the Earth at all. Like we need the moon. It's gonna be like tsunamis. Like that's gonna totally destabilize everything. Like anything that's on the shore is gonna be like destroyed. What's up, Blacklist Universe? How's it going, Mike? How's it going? Oh yeah, that moon egg thing was like so dumb, man. They really, I don't know what happened. I really, I really enjoyed. I like the Eccleston Doctor Who. I like the David Tennant Doctor Who, and I like most of the Matt Smith stuff. But then it started to really go wrong. And of course, David Tennant is like peak Doctor Who, obviously peak. Someone says I can never get into Doctor Who. Doctor Who is definitely an acquired taste. I think if you're British and you grew up on Doctor Who your whole life, then you're in for it. But like, I definitely feel like you have to buy into it because when I first watched Doctor Who, I actually watched it at the perfect time because I was like going through like a change in my life, and I had just moved into a new place, and I had a lot of free time, and I just put on Doctor Who, and I just was like, and it was just really great for me at that point in time, and I really just I binged it all, and I even tried to get into like the spin-off show Torchwood. I never finished that one, but yeah, I was into Doctor Who for a while. So yeah, Doctor Who is definitely like an acquired taste for sure. Someone says they grew up on Baker. Interesting. Don't you think Quinn looks tired? I am pretty tired. You know, it's been a lot. I'm doing a lot, juggling things, juggling a lot of things, and I may or might may not be like a little bit sick. I don't know. I don't know if I am. Hmm. I love the first three Doctors from the revamp. David Tennant was my favorite. Well, I think David Tennant is almost everybody's favorite. I know some people really love Matt Smith, but for me, David Tennant just like took the role of Doctor Who and just really ate it. And I thought, if we're being honest, right, Matt Smith definitely bit off of David Tennant's performance a little bit. You know, he was a little bit more like chaotic, and he was a little bit more like like honestly like ADHD. Honestly, he was a little bit more chaotic with it. But I think Matt Smith definitely bit off of David Tennant's performance for sure. Someone says, are the Doctor Who books any good? I wouldn't know because I've never read them. I've never read them. All right. So actually, what I'm gonna do, Mike, is for those of you that have not seen it, I do have the trailer kind of breakdown of the graphic novel and everything that it's about, and it's basically structured like a Quinn's Ideas video. This is about 6 minutes, so I'm just gonna play this for everybody, so it gives you a breakdown of exactly what the graphic novel is about, and hopefully the sound and everything works. So I'm gonna put this on screen.
The universe is incomprehensibly vast.
Did you hear that? Just let me know. Did you hear that? Did you hear it say the universe is incomprehensibly vast? As long as you heard that, then we're good. Because I don't want it to screw me over and then I'm playing it and nobody hears it. And it's yada, 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 yada. So you guys heard that? You heard the universe is incomprehensibly vast. Waiting for it to come back up again. Yeah. You here for it? Okay, we heard it. All right, we're going to start that again. Let's go.
The universe is incomprehensibly vast. Earth is an unprotected bubble, surrounded in infinite cosmic emptiness. Within that darkness, that eternal blackness, who knows what might wait, and what might eventually call out to us. The lie behind the star follows the Wanzilishi, a civilization who deep within caverns of the earth discovered strange pulsating mushrooms. Mushrooms which they grew to understand were actually reacting to something remote. Something very remote. The bioluminescent mushrooms were somehow responding to a distant signal from outer space, a signal undetectable through normal means. The consumption of the mushroom brought visions of the cosmos, a wealth of outside knowledge. At night, under the influence of the mushrooms, they would dance wildly beneath the earth, illuminated by the thousands upon thousands of pulsating fungi, filled with the music of the universe. As time went on, the attachment between the Wanzilishi and the mushrooms grew stronger. Some among them claimed that they could themselves hear the call of the signal, which they named the Kimura. In time, 3 children were born. The Wanzilishi, using what they had learned, changed the children somehow, made them a part of the fungal network. They became the 3 who are one. By directly linking into the fungal network, they could manipulate it, initiate its growth, use it to produce chemicals and biological substances of all kinds. The 3 who are one were granted by the fungus near unending life. Around them eventually grew an immense city, all formed from the biological matter of the fungus. It was said that the 3 who are one could hear the Kimura at all times, that their purpose was guided by the Kimura and the Kimura alone. The Wanzilishi prospered and grew, advancing themselves technologically, philosophically, and intellectually, whilst simultaneously the Kimura took on heavily mystical and religious significance. Many believed that the Kimura was the voice of a goddess, that the Wanzilishi were her chosen people. To the Wanzilishi, the Ajeki, the outsiders played no role. They were not chosen by Kimura. Eventually, it became the mission of the Wanzilishi to find their goddess. The 3 who are one declared that those who heard the Kimura most strongly would be taken as children and trained for a mission they may never return from. Aboard a biological vessel, they would leave the earth and seek her out. But there were many things about this so-called Kimura that they did not understand. The 3 who are one, when they chose to speak, spoke rarely to clarify the Kimura's will. Among the Wanzilishi, several tribes had developed, each with their own way of interpreting Kimura's will. Some believed that the pursuit of the Kimura should be discriminated on the basis of devoutness. Others thought that only the most intelligent should be allowed to go. The tribes each had one thing in common, however. They would all be willing to send some of their children for the opportunity. From each tribe, a few children blessed to hear the Kimura's voice were sent into the heart of the city to be trained. 9 were ultimately chosen, and 9 would eventually leave, entering the unknown abyss to seek out Kimura. But there were secrets in that abyss. In a universe so vast and dark, what could project a signal as powerful as the Kimura through time and space? An advanced civilization? Some other powerful intelligence beyond our understanding? Could the Kimura truly be a goddess? What actually waits at the origin point? What will the Nine encounter? If you've never read The Lie Behind the Star, that's okay, because only myself and a few other people have. That's because The Lie Behind the Star is my book, and it's launching on Indiegogo today. The Lie Behind the Star Volume 1 is my first ever science fiction graphic novel. As some of you may know, a couple years ago I released a fantasy story called Tadia, my first graphic novel, and now I and my creative team are back at it with The Lie Behind the Star. I've been bringing great science fiction books to you guys' attention for years now, and that's because I really love the books that I talk about. Science fiction, in my opinion, is the most powerful genre out there because it tells us about our future and what we could be and what not to be. Science fiction can be full of mystery and horror and wonder. It's about the universe and its secrets. We've been working on The Lie Behind the Star for a few years now, getting concept art done, working out the narrative, and we're finally ready to launch. I like philosophical science fiction. I'm a big fan of Dune, obviously, for its exploration of religion and fanaticism when it's extended to a galactic scale. I wanted to do a story about a conflict between religion and faith and science and reason because that was part of my own story coming from a very religious Southern background. There were so many things that I had to unlearn and come to terms with because at some point I began to realize that my perception of reality wasn't necessarily how things were. I also read everything that Octavia Butler wrote over the last several years, and there was something about the way her work just kind of confronts you with uncomfortable truths and the way she uses that uncomfortability to disarm you to make a point. I just think that she was really effective in her work at doing that, so I definitely took inspiration from that. As far as the art in the book, we have the amazing Matthew Weldon returning from Tadia, doing all the internal art, as well as Jean-Francois Belliot of Image Comics fame doing the coloring for the book. I could not be more happy with the creative team for the book. The art is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion.
Yeah. So that's that. That's that. Sorry it cut off so abruptly. I'm a bad editor. But yeah, absolutely. So there it is. That was the trailer breakdown whole thing for the graphic novel, the book that you've got 4 more hours if you want to get this before everybody else gets it. And because like I said, we're going to do this first run of, update my layout. We're going to do this first run of the graphic novel right now on this campaign. And so everyone that has backed the campaign will get their books before everybody else. And then once all of these are out in about like 8 to 10 months, if like our plan goes perfectly well, 8 to 10 months, then we can relaunch the books on, and then we can start selling them again. But for right now, this is what we got. And yeah, someone says, is there a collector's hardcover? Yeah, there's this very special one. And I will say, anybody that does get the deluxe one, this deluxe one, if you would like to switch out this hardcover for the limited one, we totally can do that for you. I totally will do that. Like email me, email us at customer service at, wait, what's the email address? James will know the email address. So I don't even have my own email address. So email us at the customer service one, customer service at quinnhoward.net, I think it is, but James will clarify it down there. So if you order the deluxe one and you want this cover instead, totally email us with your contribution number and we will totally get that swapped out for you. Because I realize that a lot of people do want this one, but also want all of these like bookmarks and the poster and all that stuff. So yeah, James will post that pretty soon. Pretty sure it's just customer service. There it is. Customer service at quinnhoward.net. So I was right. That is it. So yeah, that's just for you guys. So yeah, we're actually getting pretty freaking close to 50K. I don't know if we'll get to 50K tonight. That would be awesome. But that is like the next stretch goal that we would need to hit to get the really awesome audio drama thing. And we are actually getting pretty close. I don't know if we're going to hit it. I'm not going to get my hopes too up, but yeah, we are getting close to that. And that is super awesome. So yeah. And by the way, this is what the main hardcover looks like. It's got that wraparound cover. So this is all. This is actually an A4 size comic. So it's actually bigger than like a standard comic size. So it's actually pretty big. It's actually a pretty big book. I'll compare that to Tadia. So this is Tadia, the cane and white cover of Tadia, and then this is this one. So you can see these hardcovers are actually a lot bigger than the Tadia one. So yeah. So that's very, 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 very exciting. So wait, okay. Web says, so we have to wait if we don't buy now. I'm starting a new job and have tons of Xmas experiences, but I'm hoping to grab it in a few months. Well, you see, we have to do these pre-orders so we can know exactly how much we have to, exactly how many books we have to order to be printed. So for right now, we're not going to be able to like keep offering them in demand until sometime next year. Probably around October, they might go back on sale. So unfortunately, for right now, we can't continue to sell them because we don't want to have. That was the big mistake that I made with Tadia actually, because it was my first campaign, and I allowed the campaign to continue. I allowed people to continue ordering it for the entire process of us making the book, which just led to a lot of issues. It led to a lot of issues, like logistically speaking, and that was a problem for us. So right now we're not gonna. We're gonna. It's just for the next 4 hours basically. Unfortunately, but it will be back up next year, and then hopefully too what we want to do is immediately like start working on the next one and get the next one out, like volume 2. And definitely Tadia too. Someone asked about Tadia volume 2 and 3. Those are still coming. In fact, Matthew Weldon really wants those to come. He's always like, oh, when we're gonna start getting back on Tadia. So Tadia is definitely coming in the future. It's just a whole process. So yeah, Tadia is definitely on something that we want to finish and get out there. And then also the plan with Tadia that I've always wanted to do is that once all 3 books of Tadia are out, to release like a special edition that has all 3 of the volumes combined. It's like a really nice hardcover bound, nice thick graphic novel. I think that would be awesome if we could end up doing that eventually. So that is awesome. That is awesome. Don't pull the winds of winter on us. I definitely won't. I'm no George R.R. Martin. I definitely won't pull the winds of winter. You know, honestly, guys, the fact that anybody is even giving me a chance with my graphic novels and checking them out, and looking at them is freaking awesome to me. And I absolutely could not ask for more. It has been such like a blessing, and I feel it's been such a success. And I just feel like it's been great just being able to independently publish comics and not have to, like maybe like sell my soul to a corporation and have a lot of like censorship and editing on what I can and cannot put in the comics. So I've been very, very happy, and I've been very, very lucky to be able to do this. And also, in spite of anybody being angry or upset about the comic for any weird reason, it has been very successful. So that's been super great. A lot of people were definitely putting this book down when it was announced for super weird reasons. And in spite of any naysayers, we have made this into a very successful campaign. And that just shows you that when you got haters, don't even think about it. Just brush them to the side, and then you can still do your thing, because haters show you that you're doing something. And if people are hating on you, it's really because probably they're kind of a little bit upset that they can't do the same thing and they don't know how to express it. And so they really express it through like hate. So that's what that is. That's what that's all about. I'm very proud of this campaign. I'm very proud with how far we've come with it. Absolutely, James. Absolutely, James. So yeah, as I was saying, what was I talking about? What were we talking about before I showed that? Just talking about different books, I guess. Like I said, The Sparrow is the next big one that I'm working on. And speaking of censorship, what's interesting about this Sparrow video essay that I'm getting ready to put out is that there are certain parts of this video essay that are going to need to be censored. because of how disturbing certain parts of this book are. And I'm not kidding, right? There are certain things in this book that YouTube does not like it when people talk about. So there are going to be certain words and certain phrases that I'm going to have to censor and blur. I'm going to make it clear what I'm censoring out, but I'm going to have to in order to not be demonetized by YouTube, because that's just how disturbing certain parts of The Sparrow are. So yeah, it is a really disturbing science fiction book, but it is disturbing, I think, in a very, very unique way that you do not expect whatsoever. Um, yeah, the twist in this book is absolutely one of those where you're just like your mouth drops open and you're like, I can't believe I'm reading this. I can't believe that's even happening. So so that's gonna be interesting to release that video. And I know some people here have maybe read it, but I know a lot of people have not. I think it's kind of an underrated book. It's kind of one that's like on the low that not a lot of people have heard of. But yeah, it's really good. And the title I thought I was interesting because I don't remember if the book tells you or references why it's called the Sparrow. I had to do a little bit of research to realize why it was called the Sparrow actually. Thank you so much, Michelle. Michelle Fowler. Thank you so much. I do a little bit of research to find out why it was called the Sparrow, and it is actually because of a quote from the Bible, and I actually like really love it when I grew up Baptist, like Southern Baptist in the South, so I know a lot of Bible verses. I know the Bible pretty well, but I'm not really religious anymore. But I know it, and I always like I like it when stuff references the Bible. It's pretty cool. So basically, it's called the Sparrow because it's a reference to a quote from the Bible that basically says, "Not even a sparrow falls to the ground without God knowing of it." So it's just basically like God is watching everything and God sees everything. So that's essentially why it's called the Sparrow. And spoiling, yeah, I don't want to spoil it just yet. Wait till the video to spoil it. But yeah, it's really, really interesting. And this book in general has a bunch of religious themes, bunch of religious ideas. I really think the main theme of it is probably the desecration of faith, and like the desecration of spirit and body. The loss of faith. It's kind of it gets into some dark territories. Yeah, the author is Mary Doria Russell. That is the author of The Sparrow. The Sparrow. So yeah, I've really tried to go pretty in depth on this one, because I did a lot of research on the author as well and her whole life and her journey. She's actually a biological anthropologist. So there is an audiobook. There absolutely is an audiobook for who was asking. She's actually a biological anthropologist, and you really see that her knowledge of anthropology come out when she's talking about the aliens in this book, because they're definitely there's two different there's aliens in this book. I just want to say there's aliens in this book, and the way the aliens interact with each other, you can tell that she has a lot of knowledge of anthropology. Because the thing is, too, most of the time when you have science fiction authors that are inventing alien races, the alien races are always a stand-in for humanity. They're always just us, in alien skin most of the time. Some authors do unique things with that, but most of the time that's why there's aliens in science fiction, is because like the author wants to say something about people through this race of aliens. And so you really, really see how her understanding of biological anthropology affected the way she wrote this story, and affected the way she portrayed the alien races and their civilization. And it's very, 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 very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I said I think the main idea about this is the desecration of body of body and spirit. But I really do think another main theme in The Sparrow is essentially sometimes you have really good intentions and it still just goes terribly wrong. Like one of the opening lines in The Sparrow, it basically says, "They meant no harm." That's basically one of the opening lines. They meant no harm, right? Because a lot of times terrible things happen because of well-meaning people, and that's exactly what happens in this book. You have like these Jesuits who are going for the glory of God in their minds. They're going to visit these aliens for the glory of God. They think they're doing the right thing. They really, 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 truly believe that they were doing the right thing. Someone says, if you're allowed to say, what is the process like between you and the artist? Well, the process is I basically, narratively speaking, I'm completely in control. So like all of the research, all of the creating the characters, all of the story points, all of the narrative stuff, I am completely in control of it. And basically what I do is that I write my script and then I go into that script and I break it down page by page essentially. And then I take that page by page broken down script and I send that to Matthew Weldon. And we basically go back and forth on what works best with the script versus what he has to draw. Because there is still an element of adaptation and interpretation of what has been written, right? So if he draws something and it's not necessarily exactly what I want it, then we discuss that and then he'll go back in and like redo it. Do I ever do storyboard? I do storyboard sometimes, but very minimalistically because I'm not like the best art. I mean, I can semi-draw, but I'm not like the best artist. So minimalistically, if I just need to like show him exactly how I need something to be presented, then maybe I do a storyboard. But most of the time, it's coming from just my detailed descriptions of what need to be on the page, and description. Yeah, it's basically that. I'm just making descriptions in detail about what needs to be on each page, what's happening in the panels, and then him going and interpreting it and bringing me something. And sometimes he'll come back and say, oh, I think this will work better, as a splash page, or I think this panel or this layout will work better if you do it like this. So it's a back and forth process like that, basically. And then we have, of course, our colorist will come in after that and take the pages that he has drawn and inked in, and then our colorist will add his color work to it and do all that stuff, do all that work. But then, of course, sometimes Matthew will have it's a little bit complicated because sometimes Matthew will already have parts that he has colored in because he wants it to look a certain way, and then Jean-Francois Belliot will come in and like add his coloring layer on top of that. So the thing with comics is that it's really like it's a collaborative effort. You really got, it's a collaborative effort, but it's very fulfilling, and I really really like writing comics and doing comic book work. And you might see some novels in the future too. It's very, very possible. Someone says, is this your first book or have you published one already? Yes, my first book was Tadia. Also a graphic novel. Yes, as Jackie C says, please hit the like button. I'm going to show you guys the video that I did because I like this video and I feel like I haven't shown it enough. So when I first launched the campaign, I made this little video that showed off the hardcover, so I'm going to play this one. And the music, by the way, in both the video that I showed you earlier and in this one, is music by James Dahl. All the music on Quinn's Ideas is original, so let me show you this. Yeah, you gotta admit, that track is like so freaking epic, right? Like that track that James made for that video is like so freaking epic. I love that freaking track. So yeah. Love that freaking track. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we are actually we are 27 backers away from 1,000 backers on Indiegogo. So we got 4 hours left. It would be really super freaking awesome if we could get to 1,000 backers in the next 4 hours, right? We do have like the lower tiers, like the ebook. So if you're like a little bit strapped for cash, but you still want to support it and read the book when it comes out, you can totally get the ebook, and there's no like extra fees or anything. It's just like $10. So yeah, you could totally do that if you want to help us get to 1,000. But it's totally plausible. I'm looking at it now. We are 27 away from 1,000 backers, which is pretty freaking impressive. I think that's a really good 1,000 backers. So yeah. Someone says that could be good film music. Absolutely. James is absolutely so talented. Yeah, that's why he's is the perfect person for Quinn's Ideas Music. And I'm glad that I kind of have James's music to myself for right now. I'm a little bit selfish about it because like the music is so, I think, so unique and so good that I'm glad that nobody else has it for right now. So it's all mine. Yeah. And I definitely love the theme song that James did for me, because you guys know I had the same theme song for a very long time, but it wasn't actually Quinn's Ideas music, right? It was royalty free music that anybody had access to. And so what James did was he took, that track and he remade it into something that was just Quinn's Ideas. So now it's the official Quinn's Ideas theme song. So that's why the music now is slightly different, because it actually is a completely different track. It's actually a completely different track. Okie dokie. Someone says it would be cool to read along with a soundtrack. Yes, yes, indeed. So, like I said, if we could get to 50,000, I don't know if it's going to happen, but it could happen. If we do get to 50,000, then we'll have two versions of the audiobook. And so the audiobook, one version would just be me and my voice, and then the other version would be an audio drama with like music and sound effects, and then maybe like another voice actor, like a female voice actor that can maybe do some back and forth with me with some of the characters. But yeah, that's potential. That potentially might happen. But otherwise, if we don't do that, then you still can totally listen to James's music while listening to the audiobook. It's all on YouTube. At least most of it is. So yeah, you can check that out on his channel. And I think James has some of the best music for like just reading in general. Right? If you like audiobooks, um, if you like audiobooks, and yeah, you like music, or you just like reading with music, definitely James Dahl's music is freaking great. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you very much. I did try. Yeah, well, see, the thing about this campaign, if I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit, is that I did design all of this myself. Like all these little videos and all of these like all these little icons and stuff, and all the graphics. This is all me doing work in Photoshop. So that's been, that was really good. Not to my own horn. So like, yeah. I didn't like hire anybody to do that or anything like that. Even though I could have. Maybe next time I will. Maybe next time I will, like someone that like is totally professional and like knows exactly what like looks the best, and probably save myself a lot of trouble with like the look of everything and setting it all up. Hmm. So James Dahl just posted the link to the Tadia audiobook. Yes, so the Tadia audiobook it's an audio drama. It's got sound effects and music. I highly recommend that if you are getting Tadia, if you did get Tadia off of the website, I highly recommend the audiobook because it's so immersive and it absolutely elevates the story to like a whole nother level. Absolutely. So Tadia audiobook is freaking fantastic. And then you can like when you buy it, you also get like the version that's not with the music and stuff. Because I know some people don't like to hear it with the music and sound effects, and they'd rather listen with their own music or just not have any music at all. Someone says, do you have any intention on publishing in Europe? Um, well, it does ship internationally right now, but as far as it being published in like European stores, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I do know that the plan is that in the coming months we will have Tadia on Amazon, and once this initial campaign ships, we will have these on Amazon as well. So that will be on Amazon after the campaign launches, and Tadia will be on Amazon probably sometime in the beginning of next year. So if you want to wait to get Tadia and you don't want to like get it through the website and you want to buy it through Amazon, wait a couple months to get Tadia, and then that'll be on Amazon. So that's the deal with that. See you later, Northern Tommy. See you later. It's a pleasure to have you here. Pleasure to have you. And it's been a pleasure to have all of you here. Indeed. So, yeah. We are doing pretty freaking good. Okay. Let's see what's going on. So what have I been doing recently? Like I said, I feel like I've basically thrown myself into the Sparrow. The Sparrow is basically at the forefront right now, and I feel like I've done a good amount of work organizing my Ultimate Guide to Hyperion. Like this thing's gonna be a monster. Definitely over an hour long video on the Ultimate Guide to Hyperion. So I really can't do it any shorter because it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on in Hyperion, a lot to cover. And I'm honestly thinking that this Ultimate Guide to Hyperion still probably is just going to be the first two books, right? Because getting into Ania and all of that stuff is a whole nother thing. We'll see once I get further and further in the script and how much it actually grows and expands. And we'll see how much it grows and expands. All right. We are continuing to go up and up. We're now 24 backers. We're now 24 backers from 1,000 backers, which is just so freaking incredible. 1,000 backers. That is incredible. Let me flip this stupid pillow around. It's in a weird angle. That's better. Someone says, I'm excited to share this with my good friend who had a similar background to yours with a heavy Christian upbringing and had so many knots to untangle. Well, yeah, I mean, whatever your religion is, it's fine, you know? Like, if you're a Christian, like, that's totally awesome. And, like, a lot of people, like, find, like, great, like, beauty in religion and, like, having faith. And that's, like, totally wonderful. But I think like certain aspects of like certain like it's not even religion, it's like certain groups of people like they behave in like such pathological ways. And I think what it really was with me is that people using religion as a cover to do like really awful things and to like get away with doing like really awful things and using like the religion as like a shield. I think that is part of that's part of like the big problem. I don't think you should be like exploiting people with religion or like trapping people with religion or any of that type of stuff, right? So there are definitely negative aspects to religion, and you know there's positive aspects, as with like anything when people are grouping together, it gets kind of weird. When people group together, it gets weird because humans are just we're just kind of weird beings, you know. Someone says, will the ebook and audiobook be available after the campaign? I really need to save money right now for Christmas and I'm dead broke till my next paycheck. Absolutely, the ebook and audiobook will be available sometime after the campaign. Absolutely. Once it's all finished. Absolutely, yeah. Because in fact with Tadia, the ebook and the audio, well, the ebook did. The ebook actually went up and came out for everybody way before like we even got the books shipped out, like several months before the ebook was out. And the audiobook took a little bit longer because like a lot of music had to be produced for it. So that was that. We had to, the audiobook was a process to get out. Are you allowed to tell us what the antenna on the spacesuits are for? They look alive. They in fact are alive because the suit itself is alive. So the antenna, they're basically just sensors that sense things in the environment, right? They're just external sensors. The suit is, in fact, alive. And the little bubbles that you see on the chest are actually pouches of liquid that's hyperoxygenated. So we have pouches of hyperoxygenated liquid that they are actually breathing. So his like little egg-shaped head bubble is actually full of breathable liquid that they are breathing, right? So that is the way the suit functions. Well, the suit is produced from a fungal network, but not necessarily made of fungal tissue itself. Right? So the idea behind the three who were one is that they could plug into the fungal network. And because they were like kind of like plugged into it biologically, they could manipulate the fungus to produce all sorts of chemicals, basically, essentially whatever they wanted. So that's what's going on with that. It is definitely a living suit. It is definitely alive. And it is, yeah, that's the deal. Someone says, are the suits inspired by Gantz at all? And I promise you, I had not heard of Gantz before several weeks ago when we first like announced all the art and people were saying like, oh, this looks similar to Gantz. I have not read it. I had not heard of it. So I have to say no. I have to say no. But then again, the artist that did this piece was not Matthew Weldon, and we actually went through several designs before we actually even got to this point, right? And so yeah, we went through several designs before we got to this point. This was like what we settled on. So one day I might show you guys some of the different designs that we kind of like worked through before we decided on this one, because we went through like a few different ones that were more like less bulky, like more thin, with like less like antenna things happening, with like less little veins things, like different types of colors and stuff like that. So it was definitely a process, and it's definitely like super fun. It's definitely a super fun process. We are super close, guys. We are now 21 people away. So now if we don't hit 1,000, I'm going to feel a little bit like bad about it, because we're now 21 people away from 1,000 backers, which is just like mind blown, mind blown, mind blown, mind blown, mind blown. So if we could totally get to 1,000 backers, that would be a great end to the campaign, a great end to the campaign, a great end to the night if we could get to 1,000. So yeah, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. And thanks everyone for backing. Thanks everyone for backing. It's you guys are really, really freaking awesome. Thanks for like helping us make this happen. And like I said, those of you that were hating, ha 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 ha. We got the campaign to go anyway. Yeah. Looks like we're down to 20. We're down to 20 away. We're now 20 away. We're now 20 away, right? We're just gonna keep streaming, and let's see if we can get there. Let's see if we can get there. Carl Karsnark says symbiotic shroom suit. It definitely is symbiotic because yeah, you power it with your body. Everything needs energy. Everything has to get the energy from somewhere else. Really bothers me when I see science fiction where it's just like, oh, this is an energy weapon. I'm like, well, how are you charging this thing? How does it have this supply of energy? Like, where's it coming from? It's always very frustrating. And I think that when it comes to like biological stuff, biological organisms, when it comes to especially like plants and stuff, it's really interesting, like photosynthesis, the idea that like they absorb the energy from around them and convert it into food for themselves. I just think there's so many interesting things about biological life and just the life forms that are all around us on planet Earth. I might have been, in another life, I might have been like a biologist or something, because I've always been very interested in it. And I've always been like the nature documentary person. I love that type of stuff. I love like weird animals and stuff like that. It's always been a curiosity of mine. Always been a curiosity. Someone says, it's only fair to say atheism has also manipulated people to do evil things, such as Mao, Stalin, and others who set themselves as deities in a way. Well, I don't know. See, that's the thing, though. Like, atheism isn't like a doctrine, like, right? It isn't like a doctrine to, like, it's just, atheism is like a single position on a single belief, right? Atheism is the lack of belief in a God. And you don't get to Stalin just from lack of belief in a God, right? You have to, like, have other things in there that are really the influence. It's not the atheism itself, right? You know what I'm saying? The same with religion, right? It's not the religion itself. Like, it's people like using this structure of religion for bad things, right? And then the thing about atheism is that atheism is not a structure. It's not a structure. It's not a belief system. It is literally just a single position on a single thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different. But Jackie C says neither Mao nor Stalin were atheists, which I wouldn't know because I'm not I'm not like the greatest like history nerd. Not the greatest. I do like history, but I'm not super history guy over here. Mm-hmm. Someone says, I'm in the same boat for Christmas, but was wondering, is a deluxe crowdfunding item I'd like to get later that time. If not, as long as the hardcover is available, we'll be happy. Okay, yeah. So I know for a fact that this cover will definitely go back on sale after the campaign, after several months. Once we get all the books out, this one will go back on sale. As far as for this one, it may or may not go back on sale depending on how many we have left over from the original order, right? We're going to order a certain amount, and however many we have left over, these will go back on sale, but I will not, most likely not order more of these, all right? So there might be a certain amount, and like whoever gets them because they are limited, so it'd be weird like if I ordered more of the limited ones, right? So whoever gets them afterwards gets them, and that's just going to be it, and we're not going to be printing more of those, I don't think. But these will stay in print for as long as people keep buying them. So that's the thing. Someone says history sucks. Well, some history's not great. There's some things about history that are awesome. Some history's not the best. But what is great is that we are 19 backers away from 1,000 backers. Boom! 19 backers away. Thanks so much, Eric. Thanks. Helena says audio. There is an audiobook of the graphic novel. If that is what you're asking, there is an audiobook. There definitely is. Someone says the suit reminds me of the still suit. I totally get it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do not have any, I'm not denying it, all my inspiration from Frank Herbert. I am very influenced by Frank Herbert just in general, and, Dune and all of that. I do not deny it. So, yeah, the still suits are a super cool idea. And this is more like a biological still suit, though. It does a similar thing, though, like it maintains the body and... No, you mean I'm a little low. My audio's a little bit low. Is it? Turn it up a little bit. Is that good? Maybe I'm just too far away from the mic. Scoot up there. It's too far away from the mic. Someone says, it's a fascinating idea, your story. Love the image of what I think was a fungal town / city village. Makes sense, but also manifests wonderfully strangely. Makes me want to wander around in there. Yeah, that's the point. So yeah, I really had this idea of this fungal city. I don't know. Because I think a lot about sustainability, as a species, and how so many of the ways in which we operate in the modern era are just totally unsustainable, and it's actually kind of stressful to think about it. The fact that especially in America that we consume so much meat, right? Meat's fine, you know what I mean? But it's it's definitely unsustainable, right? The fact that we consume so much meat, it's unsustainable. And then, our reliance on things like, oil and unclean energy. there's so many ways in which our society, like, we really depend on these things, and if we didn't have them, it would totally collapse. So basically, I had this idea about this society that was like kind of totally self-contained and totally like self-sustaining, and only took from the world what it could give back. You know what I mean? So that was the idea about the people that was the idea of the people in the Mushroom City. And I also created this kind of, we'll get it, this will actually be explored more like in the later releases, hopefully, of just like and kind of like the whole political situation involving like the people of the Mushroom City, and the surrounding people that live beyond it, because it's like they do have this like tremendous resource that they're kind of like keeping on lock for themselves, and it's kind of like an argument of should they like share it with everybody else, but then maybe not. But yeah, that's the deal. Someone says also all the giant ships rely on oil and solar batteries, um, and solar. All the giant ships rely on oil and solar batteries are pretty far from powering those. True. True, true, true. Uh, Someone says acceleration of perceived time, aka time dilation, is a fascinating concept. Definitely is a fascinating concept. And when I think about the fact that relativity is like is real, it blows my mind even more, right? The fact that relativity is real, the fact that as you approach the speed of light, time for you um, becomes, slows down. It's just very, 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 very interesting. The idea that that could potentially happen if we start to develop these technologies. I think one of the most interesting movies that plays with the idea of relativity is probably Interstellar, because it does it in, I guess, a pseudo realistic way. I think that is really, it's really, really cool. Someone says physics is so spooky. I love it. Physics is definitely spooky and weird, and I wish I could grasp it better than I do. Right? I wish I like knew more about it than I do, so I could actually like contemplate some of the ideas better. But yeah, just thinking about it, in layman's terms, is pretty fun. Thanks for your super chat. Will there be an audible version? Um, I think so. We'll have to see what the process is exactly for getting the audio version on Audible, but if all goes well, we hope so. Um, let's see. Alice again. Let me see. Um, let's see. Jack Vance. I don't think I've read anything he's written. No, I don't think I've read any Jack Vance. I don't think I've read any Jack Vance James Young. I don't think so. But do you have any like recommendations? Like, what's some of your favorite work from him? If you don't mind me asking. Someone says Cormac McCarthy was obsessed with physics. Interesting. Someone says, I studied astrophysics because it is weird and pretty esoteric to normal way people think. Yeah, there's certain like things about like it like quantum physics when people like try to explain them. I'm just like, well, isn't that just like a complete contradiction? Like it's just weird. It's just weird. And it just makes me I don't know. It all just makes me think we're in a simulation. I feel like the more I learn about everything, the more I think it's all just a simulation. Carl Karsnark says, Jack Vance is OG pulp fantasy and was a big inspiration for the magic systems that inspired magic systems used in Dungeons and Dragons. Interesting. Big Planet. Okay. Dancing. The Dancing Wu Li Dancers was wonderful. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The brain trying to comprehend itself. Yeah, man. I just think it's weird that we are the universe itself. I've always thought that was really weird. Like whenever I don't know like how young I was when I learned that fact, or when that idea was first said to me, that like we are made of the universe, right? So you literally have like heavy elements being formed inside of stars, and then those stars like blow up, and then those same elements are the elements that form your body. And then what's even weirder is that like you have this sense of continuity, and yet every like decade or so, like all of the particles in your body are totally different. Like all of the atoms in your body have cycled out within 7 years, within 10 years, and that's not a myth. I've looked this up a few times, and I've had people be like, "That's a myth." It's not a myth. It totally happens. Like you're kind of just borrowing the matter for a little bit, and then someone else takes that matter, and we just kind of like our consciousness kind of just floats on top of this like soup of like moving particles, and it's really 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 bizarre and really interesting to think about it. And we are now 18 backers away from 1,000 backers, which is really awesome. Blacklist Universe says we are designed to be immortal, which is interesting. Now, immortality is a very interesting concept, you know? I mean, because I feel like, I don't know, intuitively, as a conscious being, you know, it does feel almost like your consciousness is separate from your body, right? Right. I feel like for most people, I can only speak for myself, but like consciousness, like the sensation of consciousness is that it's like somewhere in this region, right? It's like in my head somewhere, but it also feels like it's outside of my brain or layered on top. I know this is getting super weird and esoteric, but like when I think about the sensation of consciousness, it doesn't feel like my consciousness is inside of my brain. It feels like it's kind of like layered on top of it, but somewhere else. You know what I mean? Just like intuitively. Like I don't know what that could just be a sensation just caused by just like the way like we evolved or whatever. But that's the way it feels. You know what I mean? So it's weird to think about. And I think the fact that we are conscious and the fact that we are having this experience has to be special. There's something to it, because if we weren't having this experience, then like what would even be observing the universe, right? Like if we weren't having a conscious experience, what even matters, right? If there's nothing conscious to observe anything, then does it even matter? So the fact that we're conscious makes existence like special, right? I think. I think maybe I'm getting a little bit woo woo for the audience here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means anything, but that's like the way it feels, you know. It's like yeah, right, Jackie. See, it's like when you have a deep connection with someone, it feels like a shared consciousness. That's so true. That's so true. And you know, when people talk about psychedelic experiences, they take these drugs that like alter their brain chemistry slightly, or like alter their consciousnesses slightly. Yeah, reading about those stories is very, very interesting. Like the types of different experiences people have, and the types of ways that those types of things alter people's brains. You know, Frank Herbert, when he, what do you think the spice melange is? The spice melange is an obvious allegory for psychedelic drugs and things like mushrooms. So I don't know. And looks like we are now 16 backers away. I'm just going to show you guys. We're 16 backers away, inching closer and closer to 1,000 backers. If I had to guess now, I'd say we were going to hit it. I'd say we were going to hit it. Like I said, we got some of these lower tiers here. We got like the $10 tier for the ebook and the $15 tier for the audiobook. So 3 hours left. 3 hours left to back the campaign. And then, like I said, the books go back on sale in like 10 months or something like that. But yeah, thanks everyone so far that's backed it, and it's super exciting. Monkster says, "Hi Quinn, give me a kiss." Kiss, kiss. There you go. Blacklist Universe says, "So close you can taste it. I can practically taste it. I can almost taste it, guys." I can almost taste it. Someone says, Dirk Distra says, "A wave in the ocean can be considered as the water, the motion, or just the energy itself. But I think it is best described by considering all three together as the wave. Same for consciousness slash the body." Yeah, that's really interesting. It maybe it's all it's yeah, it's like yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, when you think about anything really, And you get down to some really like deep philosophical stuff, I guess, when you start to break things down like this. I feel like everything is made up of a bunch of different things, right? You know, I have you have this sense of self. You have a sense of self, but really your self is really a bunch of different things put together, right? All of the different like little cells in your body are like independently alive. I mean, they can't like really like live outside of your body, but they are like alive. But none of those like little tiny cells are you. No like single cell is you. No like clump of cells is you, right? But when you put it all together, it becomes you. Like you are like this emergent thing that comes out of this collection of particles. It's super weird. Mm-hmm. Someone says, I think the aspect on the three body problem trilogy that makes life an essential part in the universe is the best. Dark energy is a fucking joke of a placeholder. Hmm. Yeah, dark energy is so weird. I feel like the term dark energy, from the way it's been explained to me, the term dark energy, the fact that it's called dark energy makes people think that it's something that it's not. And like you said, dark energy is just like a placeholder for like why the universe is expanding, right? The universe is expanding and we don't know why. And so we say that is dark energy. That is dark energy. And we don't even know why the universe is expanding, which is just really cool. The fact that God, to me, that is the coolest stuff, man. The unsolved mysteries that are present right now that we don't know, the things that we still don't know, because I don't know, it's just more to be discovered. Can you imagine the day that we can definitively determine what dark energy is? Can you imagine the day that we definitively determine what dark matter is? Like, oh, these are particles from another dimension, and then we like know exactly what it is. Like, that's so cool. I feel like it's so cool that we have stuff that we don't know. Or like what's inside of a black hole, what's on the other side of the singularity, right? That to me is just unbelievably cool. And it's God, the thing with the black hole too is that a black hole to me just seems so unknowable because like we can't go in a black hole. Like that's totally hostile towards life. Like you can't once you go past the event horizon, you're just like stretched out into oblivion and you're not going to survive that. But if there was a way to know, it'd be really cool. It'd be really really cool. Someone says, I heard the hypothesis that gravity was from another dimension or universe. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so I'm gonna rack my brain for my science knowledge, right? So essentially, let me move my face. Essentially, there are four fundamental particles, not four fundamental particles. There are four fundamental forces that govern the nature. Why does it keep going down? I'm trying to move this thing around and it's like, nope, we're going to go over there. Update layout. Okay. There are four fundamental forces that govern the nature of the universe, right? So you have the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, and then you got electromagnetism, and then you've got gravity. And gravity is the weakest of those four, right? So it's like, I have heard that idea too, that gravity is so weak because it is actually a remnant from another dimension, and that gravity actually comes from another dimension. So that's very very interesting, because the other forces are so much stronger than gravity. So yeah, that is a weird, interesting thing. So let's see where we are now. We are 15 away. Thank you so much, David Gillies. We are 15 away from 1,000 backers. Quinn, can you do a video on Dunkin' Egg? Probably not. I feel like enough YouTubers have covered it, and there's enough content on it. I don't know. Maybe you never know what can happen in this life, but right now there's no plans on doing any Dunkin' Egg stuff for me right now. And right now there's honestly no plans on any future A Song of Ice and Fire material from me. Unless George R. R. Martin comes out with Winds of Winter, because honestly I'm just kind of tired of it a little bit. I mean, I just want Winds of Winter out, and I feel like I don't really have much more to say that wouldn't just be like a retread of stuff that I've already said a bunch, right? Unless there was a new book, right? I know like some people are totally fine with going in and like going over and over and over and over and over it again. And that's totally fine. That's other people. That's other people's thing, and that's not like really my thing. I like to read a lot of different things and talk about a lot of different series and go into different things and not just kind of like retread the same thing over and over and over again. Because it gets kind of, it just doesn't feel good to me. But if there was another book, you bet your bottom dollar there would be more content. If there was another Winds, let me clarify. If there was Winds of Winter, right? If not, I'm not gonna do another video for the Fire and Blood book 2 if that comes out before Winds of Winter. Definitely not. And that's no shade at George R. R. Martin. Love his work. I think he's one of the greatest of all time when it comes to the fantasy genre. Just his work on characters is brilliant, and the way he world builds is absolutely brilliant because he has. I think the way George R. R. Martin world builds is so it really works, and it's distinct from like Tolkien because of the fact that he knows how to world build just a little bit, right? He gives you just a little bit to give the impression of bigger, more expansive things, but he never gives you too much at once. Whereas, like with Tolkien, it can very much feel like he like the world building comes first and the narrative second, right? Whereas like George R. R. Martin, the narrative comes first, and the world building is a huge part of that, but it comes after the characters. I feel like it's more about the characters. I feel like it goes characters, narrative, then world building, right? And then also, I think one of the big things with George R. R. Martin and what I really like about his work, and what I really liked about reading it, like the first times that I ever read it, was that it feels he really gives you time to live in the world. Like you really feel like you're in Westeros. You feel like you're going on a journey through the Riverlands. You feel like you're sitting at a table about to have this giant feast. He's really good at immersing you in the world. He's very descriptive. It's a descriptive, immersive experience. Like that's what's great about George R. R. Martin. Blacklist Universe says the thing about George is that the world is already built in his head, so he can focus on the characters and the world becomes the background. Exactly. That's definitely true for George R. R. Martin. He needs to get someone to finish the series. Well, you see, if someone else finished the series, I mean, it wouldn't be George R. R. Martin, right? That's the thing about, art. It takes the amount of time that it takes, and it's not a democracy. I know, like, you might think that you want someone else to come and finish it, but most of the time when it's art by committee, it's not the deal. You know what I'm saying? You don't want a bunch of people coming in and having their like own little ideas, because then no one gets to shine, right? It's like when you have these big projects, like Amazon, like for instance, Amazon's Lord of the Rings very much comes across to me as like art by committee, right? Where you got all these different people with all their different ideas, and no one has like this cohesive like plan. No one has like an idea for like, how do we make this interesting and unique and good. Instead, it's just like a bunch of like pieces of things mashed together. So it's like this soup of gross, muddy, wannabe Lord of the Rings stuff. I don't know. Yeah, singular vision tends to work best. I agree. I feel like the best things are when you have someone that has a singular vision and they know exactly what they want and they do it. It's why Stanley Kubrick is a legend, because he knew what he wanted. He had a vision, and he made it happen. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time. Sometimes that's not true, but a lot of times it is. And we are, by the way, 14 backers away from 1,000 backers. So, yeah, click the link in the description if you were interested in backing the campaign. We are 14 away from 1,000 backers with 3 hours to go. Can we get 14 more in 3 hours? I think we might be able to. But we'll see. Let's hope so. and we're very close to the 50,000K mark, right? So I don't know if we're gonna hit our next stretch goal, which is 50K. I don't know if we're gonna hit it, but it would be really cool if we did. We only got 3 hours left, so we would have to hit it in the next 3 hours. But either way, freaking awesome. Mohammed says, "Did anyone watch Rick and Morty? It was funny. Yeah, I've watched the recent. I'm caught up on Rick and Morty. The most recent one was the Bigfoot one. Yeah. I thought like the voice change would bother me, and it kind of did for a little bit with Rick and Morty. But like once the season got going, I can barely tell anymore. I feel like I've gotten totally used to the new voices. So to me, it's fine. To me, it's fine. What's funny about it is Justin Roiland's name is still on the show, right? So he's still getting paid for it, which is very interesting to me, because it feels a little bit performative, right? It feels a little bit performative, right? Because his name is still on it, he's getting paid for it, but they can't have him as like the main voice actor of the two main characters, because of like his craziness on the internet. So but his name's still on. He's still getting paid for it. So does it really even matter at the end of the day? Right? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, yeah. So the new Rick and Morty episode was totally about like consciousness, and it had like this whole afterlife thing going on. I always love how they incorporate the weird sci-fi ideas into everything. It's one of my favorite cartoons. Definitely like a fun turn off your brain, like just have fun and watch a cartoon. And like I said, in one of my other streams, like I totally love the Rick and Morty comic books too. Like they're so much fun. So we are 12 backers away from 1,000 backers. We are 12 away, right? That is awesome. So we got 3 hours to go, and we're 12 away. I think we can do this. I think we might be able to get to 1,000 backers. I really do think we might be able to get there. And if we do, that'll be very exciting. Jackie C says, "Dang, haven't watched the new Rick and Morty." It's fine. It's fine. Like it's hit or miss. I will always stand by. The first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty are the best. Those are the good ones. And then the rest of them are kind of like, hit or miss. Oh, someone says, "Have you read or seen Under the Skin?" I actually have seen that movie, Under the Skin, with Scarlett Johansson. She plays weird, creepy alien lady that kind of preys on men, and she uses, this sexuality to lure these men to their deaths. Really interesting, creepy, cerebral movie. I did not know it was based off of a book. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Under the Skin. Does anybody know who wrote the book? Actually, I have Google. I can look that up. Under the Skin book. Under the Skin, the book. Michael Faber. Michael Faber. Interesting. Definitely a weird movie. Probably would not be everybody's cup of tea, I will say that. I like weird cerebral movies that are just like out there, but not everybody is going to like that. David Gilly says, "Dark is absolutely amazing." Totally agree with Dark. I will recommend Dark until the end of time, and there's just a few reasons why Dark is really great. Dark is the Netflix sci-fi show. It's one of the main things that makes it awesome is the fact that it's finished, right? There are 3 seasons of Dark, and it completes the story, and that alone in the modern era, having a finished storyline in a TV show in the modern era, to me is just like, that is a success, even if it was a little rushed at the end. That it's a success to have your show finished at all, because stuff just totally gets canceled in like the first season these days. So I highly recommend Dark. If you like science fiction, if you like, I don't even want to spoil it. Just watch it. It's a great sci-fi show. It's slow. Season 1 is a bit slower than the other seasons. It takes some time to get going, but once it gets going, it's brilliant. It's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's in German, but you can watch it with subtitles if you want. And there's also a dub. And by the way, people that get mad at people watching dubs, shut up. People can watch dubs if they want. It's fine. If you want to watch it dubbed, you can watch it. I just highly, 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 highly recommend it. Um, oh, tell me about it. Yeah, 1899 was actually a show that was from the creators of Dark. Um, and that one was canceled after the first season, and that was really upsetting to me because it clearly ended on a huge cliffhanger. And it's just like Netflix, man. Netflix is just constantly, anytime I think a show like, oh, this is a good show, I'm gonna like this one, they cancel it. And 1899 was one of those where it was just like it ended on a cliffhanger, and I don't think it's gonna get picked up by anyone. I'm hoping. I always hold out hope for maybe like a book that finishes it, or a graphic novel that finishes it. That would be awesome. Yeah, but who knows? Also, the AI, the not AI, the OA could use a graphic novel to finish it. That would be great. And also, freaking Archive 81 was another one. Like, I feel like there have been so many shows on Netflix that I've gotten like attached to that have just been canceled, and it's frustrating a little bit. It's frustrating. Someone says you reminded me that Silo only has one season. Yeah, has Apple TV confirmed season two yet? Because if they haven't, then don't get your hopes up because it might be gone. Might be gone. Uh, what was? Let me see. Speaking of Apple TV, what was it? Because there was an Apple TV Tom Hanks movie. Oh, Finch. Finch. I love this movie. I loved Finch. Okay, so Finch is a sci-fi movie starring Tom Hanks. It's like this guy, he's like this older guy, and it's like the apocalypse, and he like is basically living in this bunker with a robot dog named Finch. Yeah. So the thing is, not a robot dog. What am I saying? So there's this robot named Finch that he made to. Okay, so let me. I'm ruining the story. God dang it. So you got this old man, and he's this old man and his dog, and they're living in the apocalypse, and he's like getting away, like getting on in the apocalypse, basically. But he knows that he's getting old, and he knows that he's gonna die. So he builds a robot to look after his dog after he dies, right? And so that's what the movie is about, and like it is so good, right? If you just like these like if you like little contained stories, such a good movie to just put on in the afternoon and watch it. It's got a few, it's a little sad at times, but it's like it was a great movie that I thought was kind of overlooked, and I really like Tom Hanks as an actor. And it was just a cute movie about this guy and his dog and a robot. And I highly recommend Finch. If you're just looking for something to watch and you want to watch something that makes you like feel good and doesn't make you feel like crappy, and it's just like a good movie, check it out. And it's not like taking itself too seriously or anything. There are some more intense moments, but yeah, that was a fun one that I watched. Would highly recommend. So I think there are a few gems on Apple TV. You have to kind of like get through it, like scroll through the garbage. But Apple TV, they're not as bad as some other people. I feel like I've had better luck with Apple TV shows than Amazon shows, right? Amazon has really had some stinkers. Like Amazon has really had some bad shows. And it's just like, why did you guys even do this? Why did you guys even do this? Yeah, I said it doesn't make you feel bad because I feel like there a lot of times with sci-fi, I feel like it is trying to make you feel bad. Like a lot of times, especially with like post-apocalyptic sci-fi, it's like, look at how terrible the world is. Look how we've destroyed everything, and look how you should feel bad. And that's fine. I mean, it is. If we destroy the world, it isn't great. But I like it when things are a little bit more positive sometimes, and that's good. I like it when a movie makes you feel good as opposed to feeling like ugh, icky about it. Yeah, exactly. I think that I really do think that Amazon thought because they threw a bunch of money at the Lord of the Rings show that it was going to be good, and I'm like, throwing $500 million at this does not make it good. And I even said as much when it was first announced. I'm like, they're putting all the. In fact, the money was a red flag for me. Like the fact that they spent so much on the Lord of the Rings show. Like when I heard they were spending like $1 billion on it, I immediately thought that's going to be a failure. And it's for the reason that I was telling you guys earlier. When you put that much money into something, when there's that much money, what it means is that there's a lot of people whose hands are in the cookie jar, right? There's a lot of people who are like invested in this being successful because there's so much money involved, and they really don't want it to be to fail. So a lot of different people who aren't even creative people are going to have a say so of what shows up in this show, and I think that was a big problem. I think that a lot of people who were not creative got a say so in what was happening, and it ruined the whole thing, and it ends up not being good. And also the fact that it's just not connected to anything, and it's like this kind of like standalone thing, and it's like pseudo Lord of the Rings. Like the fact that it's like that made it worse for me. Jackie C says she's really not liking Wheel of Time Amazon either. Same here. Same here. I really tried with the first season, and I just really, 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 really hated it. And it has nothing to do with like, um, I know some people get mad for the wrong reason. It has nothing to do with, you know, woke, whatever. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with any of that, right? I feel like things are bad because things are poorly written. You know what I mean? Things aren't bad because it's woke. For I know people have that mentality, but that's not what's going on. It's like bad. It's bad because it's bad, not just because it has like a bunch of women in it or people of color. You know what I mean? It's bad because it's not good, right? And it's really annoying, honestly, when people get mad at things for the wrong reason. Because, like, if there's actually something that you're supposed to be, that you should be critical about, I feel like it gets overlooked because people are just like, oh, you're just complaining because you're complaining about wokeness or whatever. When really it usually has nothing to do with that. It's just like because it's bad. It's just because it's bad. Oh, yeah, like, what's the message? Like, what's the point of the story you're trying to tell? And I absolutely do know for a fact that people do react to things negatively when they perceive it to be woke. There is a certain specific group of people that when they perceive something to be woke, they immediately act negatively. And I know that for a fact because it's happened to me. It literally happened to me with this comic right now that I'm releasing. As soon as I release like the pictures and stuff, like I'm getting all these comics like, what is this? Here's your woke comic. And I'm like, the only reason that you would think this is woke is because there's black people in it. Which, if black people equals woke, then that's kind of weird, don't you think? Don't you think it's a little weird to be like black people equals woke? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Um, yeah, because the thing is too, right? People will say, I think correctly, that like when you like you shouldn't like just like insert people of a certain demographic into stories um to meet a quota. You know what I mean? Just so you can have like brownie points and be like, oh look, I'm hitting this quota with like a black person or a woman. You should not do it for that reason. But I don't understand why on the flip side of that, I was getting like the same time. Oh, this must be Quinn's idea. Quinn's vision of the future is a future with no white people, and I'm just like, that's so ridiculous, right? Because if I like inserted a bunch of white people in this story about people that are coming out of Africa, wouldn't that be me doing the same thing that you guys complain about woke people doing, right? So if I can handle like once upon a time in Hollywood or like the Northman, being like, mostly just white people, right? What is the problem with something if it was just mostly black people or like mainly black people? That's not an issue, right? You need to judge things. You need to stop being reactionary. And when it comes to a piece of media, you need to judge it based off of what it is and the message of it and what it's saying and the quality of it. We have to stop looking at things and being like, because it's got this color of people in it or it's got this kind of person in it, it is this or that, because that is not how you measure anything. It's not how you do it. It's not how you determine what is good or not. Um, And it's very, very frustrating on both sides. It's very, very frustrating to see people. I feel like the way we talk about media now has gotten really, 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 really bizarre and weird. And I wish, I wish it wasn't. I wish we weren't so stupid. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Someone says, I don't think calling Lie Behind the Star woke is really fair. Wouldn't you want, why wouldn't your original work have whatever people you want in it? Exactly. Exactly. I'm all for people telling genuine stories that come from inside of them that are like about something. You know what I mean? Your story needs to be like about something, right? And you can tell like when you're getting criticism from people that one don't write and then two don't read very much. Because I also I think it was way back, like last year when I first showed off this art right here, this guy in the suit, right? When I first showed off that, I remember some comments that were like, "Oh, this one's gonna be a self-insert, I see," and people saying things like, "Oh, you shouldn't write characters that are similar to you." And I'm just like, that is, you're really like exposing how much you don't understand about the process of like creating art, do you? Because you absolutely, that's the first advice that anybody that's writing characters will tell you, is that you absolutely should write characters that have pieces of you inside of them. That is how you come up with something authentic. You write what you know. That is the first piece of advice that you get when you're asking like how to write, how do I come up with characters? You write what you know. So anybody saying that don't write characters that are similar to you are ridiculous, right? And going back to George R. R. Martin, when you listen to George R. R. Martin talks about like his process and how he writes characters, he's fully open. He fully admits the fact that like, of course, there's a piece of him in every single character, even like Daenerys, right? That 13-year-old little girl came out of the mind of George R. R. Martin. So there are definitely parts of him inside of that character, and parts of him inside of Jon Snow, parts of him inside of Samwell Tarly, who he says like is the character he feels mostly connected to, like as far as like their similarities, parts of him inside of Tyrion, and on and on and so forth. So even like when you're writing like, you know, like a villainous character, right? Um, you need to make that character, you have to like be able to connect with that character in some sense, because the motivation of your villain has to be one that makes sense. It has to be a motivation that you can relate to. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I feel like there's an era of storytelling where it was like the villains were just, I'm evil because I'm evil, right? But that doesn't really fly anymore. Like, your villain has to be believable. Like, so you have to be able to like understand your villain and why they want what they want and why they're doing what they're doing in order to make them effective in the story, right? Otherwise, it's just like this hollow character that doesn't, with nothing inside of them, you know? Okay, so do you write material thinking about how it might look if pitched for Netflix and TV? We were just talking about that earlier, and I think that that is kind of a trend with like modern writing. It's kind of, I think it's something that you kind of can't help but do to some extent, um, especially when writing for like a comic book. I think because like right already, I'm thinking about it very visually. Right, I'm thinking about like what needs to appear on the page. Um, so yeah, to some extent, right? I'm thinking about how it looks, right? Yeah, and yeah, definitely, definitely. I'd be lying if I said no to that. I'd be lying if I said no. Someone says, Carl Karsnark says, insert yourself into the like and subscribe buttons. Please like and subscribe if you're watching right now. And we are 10 away, guys. We are literally, okay. I just want to show you this. I keep moving my head around. I wish it was easier to move around. I'm just going to put it right here. Put my face right here. We are 10 backers away from hitting 1,000 backers, which is very exciting. Um, and we have 3 hours to go on the campaign. So, right, if you're just joining us, if you want to have a chance to get this graphic novel before everybody else, if you want to get it before everybody else, back the campaign within the next 3 hours because they won't go back on sale until about 10 months from now, right? So after we get it, this will be the people that back this campaign will be the first people to get everything. Yeah, we got 3 hours left. 3 hours left. This is so exciting. This is so exciting. 10 more to go. I really think we can do it. I really think we can get there. If we can't, it'll be kind of sad, but it'll be okay. I really do think we can get there in 3 hours. Tell your friends. Share the stream. Dumb username says evil is a corruption of good. Interesting. Someone says listen to interviews with real killers, really evil men. They never seem happy and their power leaves them hollow. That's messed up, dude. Well, of course. I mean, if you have a drive inside of you to take life from other people, and if you have that drive inside of you, there's already this emptiness inside of you that you were trying to fill with like something really, 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 really dark and sadistic, right? There's already that inside of you. So you're never going to be fulfilled. You're never going to be full if you already have that inside of you. So, yeah. I went through a morbid phase when I was a teenager. Like I became like really interested in like, serial killers. I know that sounds weird, but I was like obsessed with serial killers for like a little bit, like like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, like Jack the Ripper, the Zodiac, all that stuff, like the psychology of these people, I always thought was very, 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 very interesting. Especially Ted Bundy, because like what I read about him was that like he's one of the first ever, one of the only ever like true cases of someone with like this like very particular personality disorder, where it's like on the outside he seems like this charming person, but on the inside there's really like nothing, like literally just like this, all that's on the inside is just like this animalistic drive, right? There really is no actual person like inside of it, right? And like I've like read accounts from like different people that had encountered him at different points in his life. Like his aunt talks about this moment where she was talking to him and he was like normal, and then there was this one point during the conversation where like the mask like was dropped, and then she like for the first time like saw what he really was deep down, and it was almost like his face even changed, like his voice changed, and it was like whatever was inside like was not even human, you know what I mean? So that is really, 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 really interesting to me, and scary, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if you've got that type of like pathological personality, and there's something like really, really messed up inside of you, and you're never gonna feel fulfilled anyway. You're always gonna have this emptiness. Yeah, that shit's creepy. Ted Bundy would not pass the Bene Gesserit human test, and they would be right to kill him. They would absolutely be right to kill him. No, I honestly feel like that's the type of thing that the Bene Gesserit might like root out anyway. Like, oh, this person is like messed up. Let's get rid of him. Because the Bene Gesserit aren't psychopaths, right? That's the thing too. I feel like people have this idea. People that don't have as clear of an understanding think that the Bene Gesserit don't have emotions. And that is not what's happening. The Bene Gesserit absolutely do have emotions. They feel everything. But the whole point is they don't show their emotions in front of people. They're very good at controlling themselves outwardly and making it appear as though they don't have emotions. Making it appear as though they're not feeling the things that they're feeling or thinking the things that they're thinking. But they are very, very, very human. They have emotion for sure. And you definitely see this in, Heretics of Dune, Chapter House Doom, when you really, really get like an insider look at the Bene Gesserit and how they operate. They're driven by emotion, right? Jessica is emotional. I mean, Odrade is definitely emotional. Like, Odrade is very emotional throughout the entire you know, throughout Heretics and Chapter House, Eldrade is very emotional throughout that entire set of books. So the idea that the Bene Gesserit don't have emotion or don't feel emotion is like is not correct. It's not accurate. What is up, Gray Area? I just got so excited. How's it going, Gray Area? Oh my god. Oh my god. How's it going? How's it going? Super exciting to see you on the stream. Everybody say hi to Gray Area, one of my longtime YouTuber friends in here. I've known Gray Area for a while, right? She's one of the first people that were really nice to me in the Song of Ice and Fire community when I was just getting started out. Yeah, we gotta hang out again, Gray. It's been a long time. It's been since the Nashville Game of Thrones convention. That was a long time ago. It's been a long time. So yeah, Gray Area, excellent A Song of Ice and Fire content, excellent Game of Thrones content, one of the best to ever do it. Definitely subscribe to Gray Area. Oh, we gotta get some of that Nashville hot chicken. We need to meet up in Nashville and get some of that chicken. Like every time I think about it, that's like the highlight. It's like, okay, the convention was fine, like the parties were fine, but that hot chicken when we went to what was it called, Natty B's, when we went to Natty B's together and got that chicken, that was like the highlight, and it was worth the wait in line. It was worth the wait in line. Okay, guys, we are now 7 people away. We're 7 people away from 1,000 backers. I know we can get to 1,000. We're 7 people away. 7 people away. We've got 3 hours to go. You've got 3 hours to try and back the campaign. Yeah. Yeah, we went 2 times, didn't we? That was so much fun. That was the best. That whole thing, when we were in Nashville, that was the best time that I've ever had with like other YouTubers. That was like the best time that I had with other people like online. It was so much fun. Tony Teflon was there. Gray Area's there. That's actually where I met Alt Shift X for the first time as well. Alt Shift X, sure everyone knows who Alt Shift X is. Like great guy, great YouTuber. Yeah, he was there. We got to hang out with him a bunch. Yeah, that was a great time. Phil the Issues guy. Yeah, everybody was there. Like Aziz from History of Westeros. Yeah. Great times. Has Quinn started singing yet? I'm like very, very hoarse right now, so if I tried to sing, I don't know. Oh yeah, Captain. Gray Area and I are 2 of the only people that know what Alt Shift X looks like. Yeah, we're 2 of the only people that know what he looks like, right? And yeah. So and I'm not. Lips are sealed. Lips are sealed. I'm not telling you. We know his secret identity, but we'll never tell. We will never tell. Someone says, I remember your singing voice being very nice. Thank you so much. Thanks for saying so. Someone says, how did I meet Organism? Organism invaded my studio when he tried to hack my systems and delete my channel. And as punishment, I destroyed his homeworld. But a few months ago, he realized that there might be remnants of his people in outer space, so he went off to outer space. And he might return at some point in the future, but he's gone indefinitely at this point in time. And also at this point in time, we are 6 people away. We're 6 people away, which is freaking awesome. He says he is handsome, right? I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm not gonna say anything. But he's not ugly. He's not an ugly guy. Do you think you'll ever do an all tomorrow's essay? You see, it's been, people demand this from me. I don't know. Should I really? I feel like Alt Shift X's video is so good on it that I feel like Alt Shift X is so good at it that I don't want to like tread. I don't want to tread on his territory. You know what I mean? What else could I add to it? And I feel like a lot of people have done videos on that are pretty good, right? So I feel like it's probably don't need to add anything to it. You know, I'm fine with just covering like random series. I want to just keep covering things and introducing people to new things that people haven't really heard of. And we are at 5 backers away. We're 5 backers away from 1,000 backers with 3 hours to go. Less than 3 hours to go. I'm pretty sure that's going to turn into 2 hours in just a couple minutes. So, yeah. We are 3 hours. I'm pretty sure we can do it. I'm pretty sure we can get 5 more people to come in and get us to 1,000. And that would be freaking awesome. That would be freaking awesome. Who wants to be lucky number 1,000? Who wants to be lucky number 1,000? Someone says, is he old? Is he young? We don't know. Well, I can't tell you. I can't tell you because, look, the thing is, he is anonymous and he made it clear that he wants to remain anonymous. And I am not going to be the one that, like, gives up his identity because I respect people's boundaries. He is anonymous. Fire sirens going off. He is anonymous. He does not want people to know his identity or his age. So we're not gonna go there. Someone says, these grassroots sites are so cool for stuff like this. Absolutely. I mean, it's never been easier to publish things independently. And like I was saying earlier, it's such a blessing because, you know, like a lot of people when they want to write, you know, it's a lot of censorship, you know. You have to like submit it to a publisher and have them like judge it and be like, oh, well, this is too similar to that, or this isn't right for us, or this is happening in the media now, so we can't really talk about this topic, so we can't take. So there's a lot of rejection and there's a lot of like people wanting you to like be very, I don't know, there's a lot of people like censorship and things like that going. So with an independent thing, it's really like I can tell whatever story that I want. I can put whatever I want in this book, and since it's independent, no one can tell me what to do. So that's awesome. Gray Area says he's a secret agent. Yes, he is. Secret agent. Alt Shift X. No, I think Alt Shift X is a great guy. And he's genuinely one of the nicest people that I've ever met on, like, from YouTube. Like, genuinely. He is a super nice, awesome, great dude. Makes great YouTube videos. And I just think he's a really cool, genuine person. So, we're going to pitch the book again. So, we are almost to 1,000 backers. We're 5 away. All right. And I guess, should I play the clip again? Should I play the clip again? Or, like, how many of you guys are here? How many of you guys saw the clip earlier? Do you guys want to see the clip? Have you seen it? Or should I just, like, give you guys a breakdown on what the book is about in my own words? I'm going to play the clip. I'm going to play the clip again. And this is basically the trailer that shows you everything about the comic and what it's about. Right now, like I said, we've got 2 hours to go. We're 5 away from 1,000 backers. We're going to play this clip. It's like a Quinn's Ideas video, but for my graphic novel, The Lie Behind the Star. And without further ado, here you go.
The universe is incomprehensibly vast. Earth is an unprotected bubble, surrounded in infinite cosmic emptiness. Within that darkness, that eternal blackness, who knows what might wait, and what might eventually call out to us? The Lie Behind the Star follows the Wanzalishi, a civilization who deep within caverns of the earth discovered strange pulsating mushrooms. Mushrooms which they grew to understand were actually reacting to something remote, something very, remote. The bioluminescent mushrooms were somehow responding to a distant signal from outer space, a signal undetectable through normal means. The consumption of the mushroom brought visions of the cosmos, a wealth of outside knowledge. At night, under the influence of the mushrooms, they would dance wildly beneath the earth, illuminated by the thousands upon thousands of pulsating fungi, filled with the music of the universe. As time went on, the attachment between the Wanzilishi and the mushrooms grew stronger. Some among them claimed that they could themselves hear the call of the signal, which they named the Kimura. In time, 3 children were born. The Wanzilishi, using what they had learned, changed the children somehow, made them a part of the fungal network. They became the 3 who are one. By directly linking into the fungal network, they could manipulate it, initiate its growth, use it to produce chemicals and biological substances of all kinds. The 3 who are one were granted by the fungus near unending life. Around them eventually grew an immense city, all formed from the biological matter of the fungus. It was said that the 3 who are one could hear the Kimura at all times, that their purpose was guided by the Kimura and the Kimura alone. The Wanzilishi prospered and grew, advancing themselves technologically, philosophically, and intellectually, whilst simultaneously the Kimura took on heavily mystical and religious significance. Many believed that the Kimura was the voice of a goddess, that the Wanzilishi were her chosen people. To the Wanzilishi, the Ajeki, the outsiders played no role. They were not chosen by Kimura. Eventually, it became the mission of the Wanzilishi to find their goddess. The 3 who are one declared that those who heard the Kimura most strongly would be taken as children and trained for a mission they may never return from. Aboard a biological vessel, they would leave the earth and seek her out. But there were many things about this so-called Kimura that they did not understand. The 3 who are one, when they chose to speak, spoke rarely to clarify the Kimura's will. Among the Wanzilishi, several tribes had developed, each with their own way of interpreting Kimura's will. Some believed that the pursuit of the Kimura should be discriminated on the basis of devoutness. Others thought that only the most intelligent should be allowed to go. The tribes each had one thing in common, however. They would all be willing to send some of their children for the opportunity. From each tribe, a few children blessed to hear the Kimura's voice were sent into the heart of the city to be trained. 9 were ultimately chosen, and 9 would eventually leave, entering the unknown abyss to seek out Kimura. But there were secrets in that abyss. In a universe so vast and dark, what could project a signal as powerful as the Kimura through time and space? An advanced civilization? Some other powerful intelligence beyond our understanding? Could the Kimura truly be a goddess? What actually waits at the origin point? What will the 9 encounter? If you've never read The Lie Behind the Star, that's okay, because only myself and a few other people have. That's because The Lie Behind the Star is my book, and it's launching on Indiegogo today. The Lie Behind the Star Volume 1 is my first ever science fiction graphic novel. As some of you may know, a couple years ago I released a fantasy story called Tadia, my first graphic novel, and now I and my creative team are back at it with The Lie Behind the Star. I've been bringing great science fiction books to you guys' attention for years now, and that's because I really love the books that I talk about. Science fiction, in my opinion, is the most powerful genre out there because it tells us about our future and what we could be and what not to be. Science fiction can be full of mystery and horror and wonder. It's about the universe and its secrets. We've been working on The Lie Behind the Star for a few years now, getting concept art done, working out the narrative, and we're finally ready to launch. I like philosophical science fiction. I'm a big fan of Dune, obviously, for its exploration of religion and fanaticism when it's extended to a galactic scale. I wanted to do a story about a conflict between religion and faith and science and reason, because that was part of my own story coming from a very religious Southern background. There were so many things that I had to unlearn and come to terms with, because at some point I began to realize that my perception of reality wasn't necessarily how things were. I also read everything that Octavia Butler wrote over the last several years, and there was something about the way her work just kind of confronts you with uncomfortable truths, and the way she uses that uncomfortability to disarm you to make a point. I just think that she was really effective in her work at doing that, so I definitely took inspiration from that. As far as the art in the book, we have the amazing Matthew Weldon returning from Tadia, doing all the internal art, as well as Jean-Francois Beaulieu of Image Comics fame doing the coloring for the book. I could not be more happy with the creative team for the book. The art is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion.
Who will be the chosen one? Who will be the last person? Who will be backer number 1000? Whoa, we got it. As soon as I refreshed. I didn't even get to see it hit 1000. It's at 1001. I cannot believe it. I can't believe it. This is awesome. That is so awesome. Thank you guys so much. We got to 1000. With 2 hours left on the campaign, we got to 1,000 backers. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much. I can't believe we got here. Now the next potential thing is to hit that last stretch goal. I mean, we are pretty close to that 50K stretch goal, which would allow us to upgrade the audiobook to an audio drama. But I'm very, very excited that we at least got to 1,000 backers. Like, that alone is, like, to me, is such a tremendous success. That is just, oh God, I'm so thankful. Freaking sweet. Celebration. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, so like by the looks of this, okay, it looks like we're at 102 now. By the looks of this, we're less than 1,000 away from 50K. So it is very, very possible that we actually do get to 50K tonight. So that is super exciting. And if we can get there, that means that we can make the audiobook even better and have 2 versions of the audiobook and have a really immersive audio drama. That's really exciting to me. I'm kind of getting my hopes up a little bit, but I'm not going to bet on it, but let's see. We got 2 hours left until the campaign ends. And like I said earlier, the books will go back on sale in about 10 months or so, after everybody that from the campaign gets their books. So we'll be obviously getting everyone who backed the campaign their books first, and then they'll go back on sale, and people that missed the campaign will get the book too if they so desire. But yeah, I'm very, 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 very happy with the fact that we have crossed 1,000 backers. That to me is just incredible. I missed the 1,000 too. I don't think anybody got to see it hit 1,000. I feel like it literally jumped from 999 to 101. And now it's at 103. So we're less than, we are literally, we could get to 50,000. It is totally possible at this point. So we will see. We're just gonna keep streaming here. We might stream till midnight. We're 2 hours from midnight, so yeah, the campaign ends at midnight. So we very may well stream until midnight here. But if we do, I might have to go and come back for like 2 minutes, to get like something to drink and a snack, maybe. Yeah, see. Yeah. So we're doing really, really good with the campaign. I'm just going to take that off. Someone says, looks like a gorgeous story and gorgeous book. Well, thank you so much. Hermeticism. 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 50K. Easy. Let's see if we can get there in 2 hours. We got 2 hours left. So if we're going to get there, we have to get there in 2 hours. So we'll see. I'm just really excited that we actually hit 1,000. Do you ship to the Netherlands? We absolutely do ship to the Netherlands. If you put the book in the cart and type in your address, it should tell you exactly what the pricing is for all the shipping, depending on where you live in the world. Depending on where you live in the world. So, Quinn suggests, honestly, would you have thought this was going to happen a year ago? Well, you see, we had already done Tadia, so I already knew the potential of crowdfunding for getting your work out there. So this one was just a matter of, coming up with a new idea and getting it made. Because we still want to go back and, of course, finish the other 2 books of Tadia. That's definitely in the works. But yeah, it was definitely an idea in my mind that I thought could happen for sure. Blacklist Universe says, did you make sure you're set up for in demand? I actually decided that we're not going to do the in demand this time because we did that with Tadia and we ended up getting we were taking orders for the entire time that we were preparing to get the book out. And I feel like it ended up making everything kind of a cluster. It kind of ended up not being the easiest. So I've decided that for this time around that we're going to not do in demand. Am I making the wrong decision? Mike, you would know. Am I making the wrong decision? Should I keep it in demand? I mean, I thought that we would just I thought that it would be a better idea to just wait on. So I go on demand until I set my print run. Okay. You may be right. You may be right about that. Well, I mean, Mike has run a lot of campaigns, and Mike might be right about this. So I feel like you might be right. So Mike, that might be something that I need to do. And I can do that pretty easily from here. So definitely trust your opinion when it comes to all things relating to Indiegogo. That's something I can easily do from my phone right here. Okay. Yeah, look at my cool folding phone. I know some people are like, why do you have a folding phone? Folding phones are stupid. Folding phones are fucking awesome. Yeah. Okay. I think it's opted in. Yep. So yeah, I just clicked the little check mark that says opt in to in demand, right? Opt into in demand. Yeah, that's what I clicked. Yep. Looks like we've done that. We've done that, and the last check is reach your campaign deadline. So yeah, so we're opted in for in demand. All right. So yeah, it looks like it will be running until we're printing. So there we go. There we go. So until we officially set the date to print in, I think they'll be selling, and then we'll cut it off, and then we'll go back on sale sometime in October. So the plan is still basically the same, except we'll be selling for a little bit longer. There we go. There we go. So you will have your opportunity to get the book. You'll have your opportunity to get the book, and there you go. And you can thank Mike Miller for it. But yeah, we have gone up. Let's see. We are at We're at 107. We're really close. Holy crap. We're really close. We are really, 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 really close to 50,000. Wow. We're really close to 50,000. Yeah, yowzers. Yowzers. Don't even know what to say. Thank you guys so much. This has been really amazing. I see we crossed 300 in the paperbacks. That's super awesome. I don't even know what to say. Like, this has been amazing, guys. This has truly been amazing. Oh, totally. Looks like someone got an original art piece. So that is freaking awesome. Whoever did that is super awesome. And I can show you what those look like because I have the Tadia one right here. So for just a little heads up on how the comics are made. Oh, let me put a little spot on that. Just clean that off. It's laminated, so it's not harmed in any way. But so Matthew Weldon hand draws the comics, right? And he draws them on like these big sheets that are kind of like oversized, that are like way bigger than like what the comic actually is, right? They're hand drawn, and he does the inks, and then we go in digitally. He goes in digitally and finishes it off, like he darkens it and like fills in the blacks and stuff, and then the colors are added in digitally as well. But this is what the original pages look like. So this is actually, let me make this full screen so you can actually see. Oh, it was you. Sweet. Thanks so much, Hal Peasy. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is one of the original art pieces for my first graphic novel, Tadia. And as you can see, it is huge. It's got Matthew Weldon's name on it. I could sign it potentially for you guys if you wanted to. Let me know if you want me to sign it for you too. I could sign it as well. But yeah, this is what they look like. Yeah, and it's hand drawn. It's laminated. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just going to show that side by side to the comic. So you can see it's huge. And you can totally get that framed. Yeah. So thank you so much, Hal Peasy. You were freaking awesome. And thanks everyone that has backed. Thank you so much, everybody, because this has truly been an awesome experience. What's going on with Carl Karsnock? I believe so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but thank you so much, Hal. Oh, wait. People talking about my flip phone. Yeah, look at this. Look at this thing. I freaking love this. Like, you would think, oh, like a folding phone, what are you going to do with that? But it's like, I don't know. You got like the front screen, and then it got like, when you need it, you can like just open it up, and it's like, it's freaking great. I freaking love this thing. I don't think I can ever like get a regular phone. I've always got to have like that one. What's up, Rostam 40K Archives? Wait, so is this a Warhammer 40K channel? Because I actually need to learn more about Warhammer. Honestly, I'm going to look up your channel real quick. Yeah. Oh, you're mainly like gaming, right? Okay, so it's mainly gaming. Okay. Thought maybe you were like a lore channel. But what's up, guy? What's up? How's it going? Okay. Ooh. Congrats, Quinn. You deserve this. Must be a dream come true. It absolutely is. And thanks everybody that has contributed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good one. I did. I watched the first... How many episodes have I seen? Maybe 2 or 3. I'm going to start with the positive, right? The positive is there's something that I like about it because it's super lonely, and I enjoy lonely science fiction. And I love Lena Headey's performance. But I also find it very confusing, and I don't know what's like going on in it, and I wonder why they even have the lighthouse. So maybe I need to get further into it. But just wait a second, because I'm looking, and it appears that we have hit 50K. We did it. Whoa! Yeah, we totally did it. You guys made it happen. You guys absolutely made it. I think someone else, yep. It looks like we had two people get the original art. Two people got the original art. Wow. You guys are awesome. So it looks like we had two additional people get the original art. Holy heck. Thank you guys so much. We absolutely we made it happen. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that audio drama. We made it happen. I cannot believe it. Oh my goodness. I wish I did have some champagne. I don't have any. I would crack some open if I had some. Yeah. 50,000. We actually got it to where I didn't know if we were going to get it. I didn't know if we were going to get it up there, but we did. I really didn't know. We're going to get the audio drama. So this is awesome because we hit our last stretch goal. So that means the audiobook will be upgraded to an audio drama and it'll have like a whole original score of James's incredible music and it'll have like sound effects. We can make it very immersive. So this is really, really sweet. So we'll be able to make it very immersive. And then we'll even be able to get a female voice actress for some of those other voices. That's gonna be really, really nice. That's gonna be really great. So I'm very, 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 very excited. I can't believe we finally did it. Round of applause for like all of you. All of you made this happen. I am so grateful. I am like truly, truly grateful. Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for everything. Like, if it was not for Mike, guys, like, I don't think I would have ever gotten, I would have never been in, like, the indie comic industry, I don't think, at all, if it wasn't for Mike. Mike was literally the person that said, hey, by the way, you should do a comic book. Like, literally, it was totally like Mike that said it. It was totally random. He's like, by the way, you should do a comic book. And at the time that he said that to me, it was because I was reading so many comics. I was reading a lot of comics, right? And so when he said that, it kind of clicked in my mind. Like, I have a lot of like stories. I thought to myself, I had a lot of stories and they could be comics. I thought, like, why not a comic, right? And so because of that suggestion and because of also Mike connecting me with Matthew Weldon, the books were able to get made. And I think Matthew Weldon is just like an incredible artist. Like, Matthew Weldon is fantastic and he really, really is passionate about what he does. Um, and he's great at listening to me. He like listens to me when I tell him what I need because I've worked with other artists too that like are, oh, we got more backers too. I've worked with certain artists that will not listen to you. Thanks so much, Mike. Thanks so much, Mike. And thanks for all your help. Yeah. Yeah, I've worked with other artists that don't listen or that will give you what's less than their best. I feel like that's what I love about Matthew too, is that Matthew always gives 100%. Always 100%. Right? Matthew, anything that he like sends me and he's like, check this out, look at this page, it's 100%. He's always giving his best. Because there was actually, God, let me tell you, twice on this campaign, there was two times with two different artists that I paid, because there was supposed to be three covers actually. Two different artists were paid to draw two different covers, and neither one of them got used because of, well, one of them just never delivered the cover, even though they were paid for it. And then the other one just gave me just work that I just absolutely knew was not their best work. And I just thought, like, why are you giving me something that's not your best work when obviously I'm hiring you because I'm expecting your best work for the cover of my graphic novel? And so, that just kind of fell apart. And then the other one, this person was paid for the cover, given plenty of time, given like a year, like more than a year in advance. This person was paid for this, to do this cover for this book. And, just always an excuse, and it just never got done. It just never got done. So that's why I'm really, really grateful that I do have like Matthew Weldon, who like does what I ask, and he gets stuff done, and he always gives 100%. That's good advice. That's good advice right there. Never pay it. Yeah. You would know. Like, for those of you that don't know, Mike Miller is comic book writer, comic book artist, lots of like real comic book work and like real comic book work, like actual comic book work. You know, like for the George R. R. Martin A Song of Ice and Fire comic books, he like has done the covers for them. Um, yeah, what was that really famous one? The Justice League one. Like I don't know if like I feel like it's very famous. If you've ever seen that like Justice League cover, where it's like, um, I'm pretty sure it's Superman punching Batman. Is that the one? Mike Miller. Which one is it? Where is it? I've seen it 1,000 times. I've seen it 1,000 times. Oh, Superman killing the Joker. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, so that's Mike Miller. That's all Mike Miller right there. Yeah, so this is the guy that basically got me into the comic industry. And I can't believe we've really come a long way with this campaign. It's been freaking awesome. Wow, we are up there. I think, yeah. Okay, we are up there. So 6 out of the 10 original arts went. That is freaking awesome. I didn't know how many of those we'd end up moving. And like I said earlier, those of you that did get this deluxe one, please email at us at customer service at Quinn. What is it? Customer service at quinhour.net. We'll put it in the description. If you would prefer to get this cover instead of this one, you can have a choice, but you'll have to email us so we can make a note of that on the contribution number thing. Email us with your contribution number, and we can totally get that squared out. I'll probably send out an email to everyone that got the deluxe one, right? I'll probably send out an email to everyone letting them know that they have the option for this cover as well if they so desire, because I know a lot of people want it, like the poster and the bookmarks and all that stuff, but they also wanted this cover instead of that one. So we can make that happen for people that are interested, and we'll also do that for people that ordered the original art as well if you want a different cover. So yeah. Let's see. Quinn's ideas. What will you do when if the movie/TV folks show interest in your work? Would you be up for it? Well, obviously I'd be up for it. I mean, it depends. I'd obviously have to get like a lawyer, and I'd have to like have some context. I'd have to talk to some people and really determine like what do people do in situations like this, and like what really would it be reasonable for me to like demand out of this? Because like it's not like I'm J.K. Rowling, right? So I couldn't go in there and be like, this is exactly what I want, and you're gonna do it because I've sold 50 million copies of this book, right? I can't. Obviously, it wouldn't be like that. Not everybody has that. Not everybody can have that J.K. Rowling experience where you have like so much control over your adaptation. So, I mean, it depends. It depends on like who wanted it. It depends on like what their vision for it was. It depends on so many different things. But obviously, I'd be a fool to like not be interested and to reject that kind of thing. Obviously. So, yeah. But right now, I'm kind of floating on cloud nine because I didn't know if we were going to get to this stretch goal. I didn't know if we were going to get there, but we did. And that is so exciting. And I am so freaking happy about it. Someone says, you need a manager. You're probably right. I've probably hit that point in time where I need a manager, right? Like I was watching H Bomber guy, his new video on plagiarism, like YouTube plagiarism, which is just. But in that video, he mentioned the fact that he had a producer, or he had maybe more than one producer. I'm like, you have a producer? I'm like, I need a producer or a manager or something. I definitely need a manager. I think someone that can manage me because I need to be managed, right? Quinn, you should cover the horror at the end. You should cover the horror of End of Eternity. Let me look that up. Oh, Asimov. Oh, okay. This is definitely one that I have not read. But that probably should go on the list. Okay. Would you watch Rebel Moon by Zack Snyder? You bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna watch it because it looks freaking fun. It looks fun. You know, let's see. What was I gonna say? Yeah, Rebel Moon. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Why not? Why not? I like. Look. Here's the thing. I don't know why. This is one thing I totally don't get, and maybe someone can fill me in on it. And I don't know why this is, right? Why why is it that like people why don't people why is Zack Snyder, I feel like, particularly singled out by people? I don't really get it. I really don't, and this is genuine. Like cuz I feel like the Zack Snyder like Justice League gets made fun of like a bunch when it's not like bad, right? I feel like I feel like in most Marvel movies are worse than Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like most of them that I've seen in recent years. Like most of them have been less enjoyable than Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I don't really get the joke, right? I because I constantly see people joking about Zack Snyder's Justice League and like how it's like just I don't get it. I don't know. I don't get what the deal is because I remember I watched that movie and it's obviously not like I'm just like this is the best movie I've ever heard. This is the best movie I've ever seen. But it was like, oh, this is whatever. It's Justice League. It was fine. It was fun to watch. But then like Shang-Chi or Chang-Chi, what was it called? Chang-Chi? What was it? The Marvel movie, the Marvel karate movie. That was terrible. And then I thought Black Panther 2 was just not good. They spent the entire movie like basically memorializing obviously the actor that died, which is like fine, but it wasn't like a movie. It was like not a good movie, right? And then like I don't know, just I just feel like in general like, Marvel movies have just been like not good, right? And so it's been funny like that I watched. I'm this is totally coming from like a place of not bias. It's not like I'm like I love like DC stuff and hate Marvel stuff or vice versa. I don't really care about either one of the movie studios. It's just I've wondered like what that is. I know I've seen that online, like this like fuck Zack Snyder energy and fuck Zack Snyder's fans energy, and it's kind of just like why though? Like what is that? Like where does that come from? I don't know. I don't know. But then again, like I've kind of been like burnt out on superhero stuff for a long time, man. A long time. Like I feel like superhero movies have been kind of circling the drain for a minute. Whoa, that's interesting. Someone says, I also like how Dune has parallels to Oppenheimer. How Oppenheimer feared his creation of the atomic bomb, like Paul feared the jihads. Interesting observation. Interesting observation. Because like Oppenheimer was really good, and I feel bad for people that couldn't see it in theater because it was really good in IMAX. But yeah, I loved in the movie how the bomb just kind of like the thought of the bomb is like looms over the entire movie, right? He's always thinking about it and the power of it, and like it's always cutting to like the flashes of the bomb, and like the explode, like the screen will like turn into fire, but it just represents like the state of Oppenheimer's mind, right? It like his that it's just really good. You got to see it. You got to see it. You got to see it. Dumb username says the nukes are fake anyway. Tell that to Japan. Tell that to Japan, bro. You know what I mean? Like, not if we just like don't talk about like the physical effects of like the nuclear bombs that were released on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Can we talk about like the cultural impact of those bombs in their culture, like the impact of those bombs just like in their media, in their movies and TV shows and books and stories. Like I mean, the bomb the bombs happened, the nukes happened. Yeah, absolutely. We are over 1,000 backers. I can't believe it happened. Yeah, we're doing really really good, and that's very very exciting. Over 1,000 backers. 2 hours to the campaign ends, and then we go into in demand. Rostam 40K Archive says the explosion wasn't satisfying though. I wish he would have used effects, but it totally was though. I loved the silent. I'm just gonna say it. Maybe it's just me, but I loved the silent explosion. I love the fact that it cut out the sound until like and it held that tension. But honestly, too, the movie was ruined a little bit for me because during the whole movie, basically, there were these like really really young teenagers that were like in the front, and they were like giggling and laughing and talking through the whole thing and getting up and doing weird stuff. And when the bomb scene happened, like the one of the kids in front, he goes boom, like loud, like boom. I'm like, shut up, shut up. He kind of ruined it. And also, what was I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what kind of situation it was, but it was a weird theater experience, right? Because we went late at night because it was late at night on a weekday. And we went late at night on a weekday specifically because, okay, hopefully that many people won't be here, right? And it was weird, guys, because after the movie started, right, we see this guy, right, this older guy, I don't know, like 40s, not 40s, maybe like 30s, like 35, right? This guy, just like an average guy, I don't know. And he's just standing right there. And I'm like, I always get weirded out in theaters when I see someone just like standing in a weird place because, you know, the Batman thing that happened when I was a teenager, there was that whole Batman shooting. So I was thinking about that, right? And this guy like eventually like comes in and sits down. And I want to say he keeps looking at his phone, right? And it's annoying because like when you're sitting behind someone in the theater and they keep opening their phone, like you can see the light and he keeps looking at it. Like, what is this guy doing? He's looking at his phone. And then like these three teenage kids come in, but they're like young teenagers. They're like 12, 13 maybe. And they all sit with this guy. And I'm like, how does this guy relate to these kids, right? Because he's not looking old enough to be the dad. Doesn't really look like an older brother at all. Doesn't really, not giving me dad impression, not giving me older brother impression. How do you know these freaking kids? And the fact that they came in super weird. The fact that he came in first and like stood on the side of the theater and then walked up, and then they came in later, was just very very weird. I'm like, what is going on? This situation, like who are you and how you know these kids? Do I need to like? And also to add to it, it was like the middle of the night, guys. This was like 1 a.m. in the morning, right? On a school night, and I'm like, why are these kids here with this man that doesn't look like their dad or an older brother? Like, how do you know these kids and why are you in the middle of the night? It's just weird. But the only reason I noticed was because they were ruining the movie by like getting up and walking around and talking a bunch. I was like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? Why are you here? They could have just been like his kids or something. I don't know. Maybe I was thinking too much about it because I was really just annoyed by them. Someone says I saw Barbie instead of Oppenheimer. Well, I saw Barbie and Oppenheimer, so I feel like the whole point was that you see them together because like they're kind of like ostensibly they were supposed to be about different things, but they were kind of about the same thing a little bit. You know what I mean? Both characters are kind of going through an existential crisis. So that was interesting. Someone says one answer demons. I believe it too. They were like demons that were sent to distract me from the movie. Like, why were they there? Like, obviously, they did not want to see the movie. And that's why it stood out to me, because obviously these kids had no interest in Oppenheimer. So why are these kids at Oppenheimer in the middle of the night just so they can talk through the movie and constantly get up and walk around? Like, why are you here? How long did it take you to realize that Barbie was the Matrix reskinned? Yeah, a little bit of time. Barbie was weird for me because I didn't know what to. I thought the messaging in Barbie was a little confused, as I'm gonna be honest. I probably need to watch it again to like gather my thoughts about it again. But I thought the messaging was a little bit confused. I didn't really. I knew it was trying to say something about patriarchy and matriarchy and, you know, the way men and women interact with each other, but I don't know what it was trying to say necessarily, right? I was a little confused by like what the message of it was, right? I really did not get it that much, but it was good. It was a fun movie, and you know, it's fun. Quinn, I just want to say you're Knuff. Yeah, I'm Knuff, and I will always be Knuff. All right, guys. See, I've been streaming for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I don't usually stream this long. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get off the stream um, pretty soon here because I'm feeling the ADHD and it's coming to get me. I'm feeling the ADHD and I'm feeling like I gotta do some things. And I also still got some work to do. I gotta finish up the Sparrow script. Gotta work on my Hyperion Ultimate Guide. Um, Lots of things to do. Also, we got an episode of the podcast to film this week, right? So we're doing an episode of the podcast on Planet of the Apes of all things. So check that out. Check out the podcast Cosmic Chronicles if you're interested in our podcast. We've released several episodes so far on various different science fiction topics, and it's been a lot of fun doing the podcast with James, none other than James. Let's see. Ron Vansover says, "Don't know if you saw my previous message, but because it's somewhat confirmed that Dune Part 2 is 2 hours and 46 minutes long, hopefully it goes smooth and Denny fits everyone from the source material well." Yeah. Well, some people are questioning whether Count Finring is going to be in the movie, but we're going to see. I did hear about the runtime, and that's very, very freaking exciting. I'm so excited about the runtime. Because I wanted the first movie to be that long. I could have taken a 3-hour movie, right? I feel like long movies are fine. James and I just rewatched The Green Mile. Excellent film. The movie's over 3 hours long, and because it's a good movie, because it's paced so well, The Green Mile does not feel like it's 3 hours long. So that's one of the best movies ever. Like, The Green Mile is truly one of the best movies ever made, and if you've not seen that movie, please watch The Green Mile. It is such a beautiful film. You just get such beautiful performances from everybody involved in that movie, from like Tom Hanks to, Michael Clarke as John Coffey. Just a really, 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 really good movie. So, yeah, The Godfather's another one. But anyway, I think I gotta get out of here. Thanks, everyone, like truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, for supporting The Lie Behind the Star, my upcoming graphic novel. Thanks, everyone, so much. It has been such an amazing campaign, such a wild ride. I cannot believe we got to 1,000 backers. I cannot believe we also hit 50K. Like, that was like a double whammy, right? We got to 1,000 backers and then we hit the stretch goal. So freaking sweet, man. Freaking sweet. I love you guys so much, and I really, really do mean that when I say it. I love my audience. Like, you guys enable me to do so much, and I love being able to like take my love for science fiction stories of all kinds and share them with you guys, and it's so rewarding and fulfilling. I love you all so much, and I can't I can't talk. I can't wait to unleash my graphic novel onto the world and for everyone to read it and get into it. Thanks, everyone, so much. I love you all. Peace. And I'll leave this stream up until midnight, I think, and then we'll take it down. So I love you guys.